Okay, and I just need her presentation up and I guess we have to share it. Perfect.
The mic ain't on there?
Yep, okay.
We don't have any, mic's not on?
The only person on right now is Felix.
The mic's on.
No, Mike.
No, Mike Randolph. Is he on?
He's not, he didn't show up, just Felix right now on the people looking online.
Okay. You know, Mr. President, we ready?
You're ready.
Okay, I'm gonna call to order the West Tampa Community Development Area Community Advisory Committee. April 21st at 5:30 p.m. at the Hillbrook Education Foundation on Tampa, Florida 3607. One note I do want to make. There's been a complaint that our meetings are not being put on the website, are not legible. Our video meetings on YouTube or whatever.
Right.
A lady said that at the she already meeting when I was watching.
Okay.
Which I didn't know that. And she said it not audible, legible, I can't hear it or whatever. So anyway.
It's probably audible.
But they said that they were trying to chase him down, so that's the question.
Okay.
Anyway, then you call it the order, roll call, Mr.
Okay.
Brendan.
Thank you very much, Chair Robinson. As you, okay. As I call your name, say here. Chair, Joe Robinson.
Here.
Carlos Ramirez. Alan Barabee.
Here.
Janice Williams.
Here.
Bobby Wilson.
Here.
Jeanette LaRussa Fenton.
Here.
Cynthia Maloney. Delphine Jones. Tina Young. David Alonia. And Carlos Ramirez. Gotcha. Thank you. You have a quorum and you can begin.
See, what? Is anyone online? Public comment. No, that Mr. Ramirez is here. I don't think she called your name. I don't think she.
I got him at the end, yes.
Okay. All right. With that said, no public comment. Has anyone had a chance to read the March 24, 2026 minutes? So still I will be showing for approval.
Second.
Okay, the motion is second. Is there discussion? Let me say this about those notes. I got two different notes.
Hmm?
The first set of notes had an error on it, but the minutes that I just got today did. So there was some changes from the original ones that I got sent to me.
The minutes?
Well, it was the package, it was the motions made.
Okay, that's a different document.
Okay.
So minutes are, I didn't change,
All
but
right. And especially not all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same motion, thank you. Presentations, we have the site and housing development division, Mr. B. Parks. Sorry, housing team, thank you. Got a nice.
Okay, good evening. So I'm going to make this as short as possible, but very educational. For I guess you don't have the time for me.
oh, sure. Okay.
Yes, okay. So as you know, 30% of the budget has been allocated for affordable housing and it's been a mission. It has. But I'm coming today to reintroduce the programs, give updates, and also give updates on what we're doing to move things forward, okay? So again, as you know, with the 30%, and I presented at CRA board meeting multiple times, that the 30% allocation has been divided into 5 quadrants or 5 initiatives, should I say, that will spend the money. As you know, 2 of the initiatives are directly reflected of current residents and future home buyers in the area. So number 1 is the HRP program, which we are moving forward with that program in West Tampa. We have some new applications coming in. I'm scared about the housing stock. I am, because we're limited at 100K, but we'll go over that. Okay. Meaning the conditions of the home. But some we are able to help, and some, we have to look to see if we can partner with the Housing Community Development Department to help with making sure that we can help these individuals if possible. So again, that's HRP. And then we have payment assistance assistance program, where we provide up to $50,000 for individuals to purchase within the West Tampa CRA. For the HRP program, as it stands right now, it's, owner and tenant properties that we can, owner occupied tenant properties that we can help with. But in the near future, when I go in front of city council, CRA board, after our attorney Cliff gives me the green light on everything, then I will have a vacant home portion of the HRP program, and hopefully, I'm trying to picture a replacement home, which is that is deemed inhabitable, and we need to see if we can completely replace the homes. And I'll go through that because that's what's happening on the east side, and I have two homes on the west side that are in that condition. The three other initiatives are the infill development program, which of course is land that we own. And we push out the request for proposals to the development community for them to build affordable housing on it. The unit creation and conversion program is the hot topic. If anyone has seen that, that's the most I've been presenting at the CRA lately. March 6th, I had a special workshop where I went over the new process. Before, an individual used to a developer used to come into the door, fill out a funding application. We all bring it in front of the CAC. This is what we did with Domain Homes, that they filled out the application when they came in front of you guys and pitched the four projects, the four patents for that project. And then you all decide to recommend funding to the CRA board. They go in front of the board and they get an approval or denial at that point. And further down, I'll go over the process. Because that's what I've been going around speaking to all the CAC. And then of course, acquisition. Strategically acquisition properties within the CRA area. So those are the initiatives. Now, this is the snapshot for the area. So West Tampa for FY25, the 30% allocation was $5 million. It totaling all of our programs. FY26, the 30% is at 8.5, which the rollover is coming from the FY25. So it's still that 30% allocation. So you see that we did have a couple of homes assisted. Now this is an older slide. We had a couple that have been added to this as of yesterday, but I already submitted this packet over for everyone to have. So HRP, we have total submitted at 151. CPA, we haven't done EPA yet for West Tampa CRA. However, those four homes that we are approved for the unit creation and conversion program had 4 slots already reserved to receive the EPA on our side. So again, we can also help the end user with that 50K. The end user with our money and city money can possibly get up to $100,000 to buy out. And then the creation and conversion program was budgeted at 2.4 for that year. And then we acquired those 3 lots at 2.874, which is the Cypress, it was the Cypress and Howard one. For FY25 so far, one home assisted at the expected price of 74,443. We have about every time right now, and then FY is 2.9 for that project, for that line item of creation and conversion, and we have one committed project, which is the home project. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Here goes the Domain Homes project, and they're going to begin construction shortly. The 1940 Spruce Street that we have already in the pipeline for us, the rehab will happen on that home through the City of Tampa's job contractors list. So what does that mean? If anyone follows city business, the purchasing department has a job ordering contracting with 6 approved GCs that they dish. Those GCs work on commercial and residential. So the residential side is what we use. So that's what we currently have a process that in our rehab program, we assign a GC to a house. The GC goes to the home and does a full scope. So they do an exterior walk, interior walk, and they write up everything that's wrong with the house. Once at that point, we then meet with the homeowner to review those items, because again, we have a budget. The budget is $100,000. That's a budget for this program. So, once we, speak with the homeowner and look, and that DC recommends, hey, these are the top items that you need to change to, bring them up to code. So this is not a program that I call beautification, something that we're gonna come and replace cabinets is not needed or anything to beautify. It is to bring up items to code and ensure that that individual is to live in a safe and decent house, okay? So we're going to use a request for applications to transfer, once awarded, to a nonprofit partner that will place that 1940 Spruce Street on sale to a income eligible buyer. So that will make 5 homes on Spruce Street that have been produced from the West Tampa CRA. It's one that we already currently own, which is the 1940 Spruce Street, and it's the one that the name is building on Spruce, so we're gonna do a whole big thing. Once that happens, we'll do a ribbon cutting. They're working with the local nonprofits, the housing counseling agencies. So please visit me or call me, so anyone that you know that wants to purchase a house, they have to start with the agency to get financial education, take their home buyer education class, and get financially prepped to purchase. So that way, contact me, to say, hey, this person already has their money reserved, and they're waiting basically on these homes to get constructed. At that point, I can kind of see about holding that house for that individual.
One day I already going that. Oh, let them finish. And then we gonna stop, because I got a bunch of questions, so let's
Okay.
finish the presentation.
Write your questions down,
And we
and hopefully I can answer them tonight about it, or if not, I'll get back to you. Alright, so of course, will include long-term affordability requirements that in the case of down payment assistance is 20 years. We can go to the next.
Okay.
Alright, so as you know, this portion of the presentation was what I presented to the CRA board at their March 6th special workshop. I'm not sure if anyone attended that workshop from this side of town, but that was a very important workshop to talk about housing and commercial. And the housing portion was just to get more direction on unit creation and conversion. So of course, we know for West Tampa, priorities lie with creating affordable housing opportunities through creative housing solutions that respond to rising housing costs and limited development land within West Tampa. Some of the challenges that we're facing currently is the available funding may not be sufficient in the current market to support multiple affordable housing projects due to increase in land and construction costs. So those are some of the challenges that we're facing. So the recommendation I put together is to plan to release a new housing funding cycle for FY 27 or before, when I go in front of the board in June, to support future affordable housing development opportunities within the West Tampa CRA. So, as go to the next slide because
There we go. I went next one.
so I'm not sure if everyone's been following the topic of the unit creation and conversion program, but that in sense what the cycle needs. So the new proposed project is process is that there are going to be funding cycles for the unit creation and conversion. The funding cycles are CRA area specific and funding availability. There's going to be a threshold review and scoring criteria, and there's going to be a 5-member selection committee assigned to rate the applications that come in, okay? So I'm gonna tell you, that I'm jumping ahead of myself, but the 5-member committee is gonna have 2 representation from the CAC. And this body is gonna have to vote on who's going to represent the CAC to vote on those applications. So I'll just throw that out there right now. So the funding cycles are gonna be broken up in two funding cycles per year, and it is dependent on available funding. The first funding cycle is going to be tailored to small development. Those are developers who are going to produce 1 to 20 units, primarily funding track, so we need, this dollars to create affordable housing. It's going to support property owners and small developers. And it includes development funding. So if anybody has been following the pre-development conversation from the east side, that's kind of where that discussion came from. A lot of individuals may own land that are property owners that are willing to convert them over, to affordable housing. So the larger scale development cycle, will be more in FY 27 July release. So this is going to be released to kind of match the cities and the Florida housing funding cycle. So this just makes it easier for when they apply for our dollars, they can also go for other dollars from the city and also on the state all at once to fund the project. So it just makes it easier for the development to happen. So this is gap financing for larger projects, underwriting required, and there's no pre-development funding for the larger developers. They're supposed to already know how to develop, so they don't really need to have, funds to start projects. So the funding cycle determination is based off of the CRA specific market conditions and available funding. Okay, so we're gonna keep up with the market here. You can go to that. So the threshold review and scoring criteria process is, of course, us as the CRE staff, we're gonna do a threshold review, so make sure CRE location, what district it falls under, whether that developer, of course, has site control, zoning, their budget, and we're going to identify all of their sources and funds at that time to make sure that they could fund the project. We're going to then provide them a conditional award. So at that point, if anybody knows development, which a few of us here know, sometimes it takes our commitment of funding to jumpstart the commitment from a private lending institution. So that's why we're going to give them a conditional award letter saying, hey, we're giving you up to 6 months to secure the rest of the financing. To make, there might be people that go out for other monies from the state or city. And then the next step after that will be, we will then draft the CRA development agreement after the financing is secured, okay?
Okay.
This is a sample right now of the scoring criteria that 5-member committee that I was speaking about just a minute ago is going to look at and score the project based off of the criteria. This criteria, I didn't invent. This criteria came from multiple sources. It came from surveys that were launched, 2 years worth of research for how to make affordable housing work within our CRA areas. And it just, a lot of feedback from the community came into this. So you see that some of the criteria was, of course, making sure it aligns with our CRPs, because that's the most important. And then, whether some of these, projects will cater, of course, to the much needed area median income, which is 30%, 50%, 80%, just give them more points. The selection committee will look at the developer's experience and capacity, their feasibility, their schedule, what type of characteristics their project will have, the proximity to transportation corridors and employment centers, and inclusion of any certain retail, green space, or any other public improvement. Go to the next. So this is just a breakdown of the selection committee structure. So again, 2 CAC members from the project CRA district, and of course, it's selected by the CAC. One CRA staff member, myself or someone else from my staff, one housing staff member, and then of course, one subject matter expert that will look within the city, to make sure that we can find either construction services or development, person within the city that can support the, projects. Their role in this is to review and score applications and of course, recommend the project to the CRA board. So that is the role of the committee. Go on to the next. This is just, I'm a visual person, this is just a graphic kind of just showing the same thing that I went through with the slides for your reference. And of course, just want to say funding cycles and amounts will be based on CRA specific market conditions and available funding. You can go to the next slide. All right, so I'm gonna, do you want me to stop piece by piece? Because my next section is about income. The first part is about the program and everything. Any questions about the program?
Okay. Stop this for the first. Mr. Rogers, you had some questions. And then Mrs. Jeanette, President, down on that side of it. Okay, we go right down to this, all right. Ms. Wilson?
Oh, hey, you had mentioned about, people need to go through DMC, credit agency process to get into the program. What if someone's already gone through the program, would they need to go again, or they just like, hey, here's, I completed it, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, here you go.
So there is a time lapse on that HB certificate, but if they just took it, it's like 2 years. So if they took it longer than 3 years, or 2 years, they will have to retake that course with the housing council agency. But if they're in the process right now, just forward me the name, the info, and then I will connect them to domain. Because domain has their process that, of course, they collect their earnest deposit money, they have them look at the lot that they want and stuff like that. And then I get with the city and collect all their income documents.
And last, on slide 11, around the affordability level criteria, we had 30, 50, 80, you know, my tax about workforce, housing, like usually that goes to 120. Would that be, could that affordability level be amended a little bit to make sure we have workforce, housing?
Foreign criteria, of course, it can pitch up to when I release the application, it's going to say up to 120%.
Yeah.
They get more points if they service that lower income because it's harder for them.
If say it's 80 to 120, they get.
Yes,
Okay,
but they'll get like, hey, you're going to service 80, good, you know? But if they service 80 and below, it's even better because that's harder to release right now. And that's what's needed. In certain areas.
Back on that.
Yeah, because that's what's needed in certain areas. No, that's the missing, that's kind of the missing rental area. So that's where, in this case, the West Tampa is not. So that's why I'm saying, when this scoring criteria goes out, that might not be applicable to the West Tampa, but I'm just using one scoring. So my application is gonna tell you what you can do. Okay? The application is gonna tell you. You just get those points if you're catering to making it work for the lower AMI.
Ms. Wilson, that was right, Ms. Spring.
And I guess this is the time to ask about this. On the down payment assistance and the rehab, those two programs.
Okay.
There doesn't seem to be activity on those programs. And I'm trying to, I don't know if I'm not interpreting the data correctly or what. I mean, I keep seeing, like we keep seeing zeros on applications and there's such a tremendous need. I can't figure out why like that money isn't used immediately for the rehab and the down payment.
So for down payment assistance, I have, there's several different, ways of communication that we're trying to use, because at the moment, we don't have a communication team. The CRA just does not have a communication team right now. So that's something that we're pushing on our end to make it aware we're trying to make it aware, the CAC are vocalizing that, because besides you all, our social media channels that we currently have, and myself and my team going out to every neighborhood association meeting, partnering with the city. We just had 2 outreach sessions in West Tampa. So we had it at, Barksdale, for rehab. So we just had 2 outreach, like the housing teams are about to go on an outreach seminar to do all of this. Unfortunately, even on the west side, the east side came, and I'm pushing them like, hey, this is just a west side event. So it's more communication, Jeanette. So with that, it's just, I'm going to each housing counseling agency, talking about the program. It's also price point, making sure that the houses that are out there are below the 450 max, because that's what the sales price is for the down payment assistance program. The affordable sales price that we cannot exceed is 450,000, and that's what's being affordable from the state of Florida for Tampa. So again, it's finding the price points, going out there to speak about the program for DPA. As I mentioned, is we do need help with communications. That is a major thing, because even for the event that we have at Barksdale, we could talk yard signs, like how yard signs, mailers, all of that. There's no facilitation for that. I'm knee deep in the housing part of it. So comms is something. With rehab, it is picking up. So the word of mouth is getting out there for our rehab program. So I'm hoping that that will start activating that. I'm hoping, that whoever from the local groups want to invite me out to talk about rehab to the neighborhood and explain that we're not taking their home, or we're not trying to do anything but help them, and it's education about the rehab program. So it's more communication that we have some outreach seminars. So we started with West Tampa. We're now going to Ybor City in May. Then in June, I was gonna finish off my presentation and talk about the outreach, but, then in June, we're having a big community event, only CRA. So the Tampa CRA is putting it together. It's gonna be our Fair Oaks on the east side, but it's gonna be talking about all the programs, and we're also gonna be doing a bus tour to showcase the future sites. So it's gonna have formal people that have reservation numbers touring those sites. But yes, I agree.
Is it,
I'm very transparent, so we don't give no assistance besides if it's groundbreaking or those type of things from the city. It's up to us to make sure that we market our program.
is nobody even doing, I mean, I'm certainly no social media expert. I don't even use it. But I know it takes like 5 minutes to post something on, to make a
And we
post
post
that
it.
says,
You follow what I
down payment funding. You mean, the cities communicate?
No, our communication, the city communication is not gonna post our program, okay?
Why?
The CRA posts.
Well,
They
they'll
post our
share,
program?
but so when y'all look at all the stuff in front of you, all of our social media channels are there, Instagram, Facebook, and, LinkedIn.
That's our aim.
But no, we do work with the city team, but when it comes to a CRA program, our CRA board wants us to be first to post things, and then the city would tag us. So that's kind of how it's been working. Like we're having ribbon cuttings, and that's what's happening, we're putting out the press releases, we're working with them, but I don't know if that is reaching our audience,
We
and
can't take a few minutes to do a social media post that
Mhm, we
says we
do.
have down payment assistance. I mean, I
Yeah, we
can't imagine.
We
if
do.
did
We
that.
have that.
We're going to have people pounding the doors and the money gone in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not as easy as you think, but we have our social media, the arm that we have currently, which is HCP, posts every week about our housing programs.
Mhm.
And it's throughout different days. So they also post for our regular stuff, like the working, all of the other stuff, but they post our rehab constantly, and they post our down payment assistance programs. HCP, that's our, kind of our communication arm that we had. It came from Eastport, and it's tagged on through a contract to continue giving us services, but it could be much more better. Okay,
So there is some level of social.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yes, so yes.
It's,
Where people understand that they can get down payment assistance.
Right. And if y'all could share those channels with your respective organizations, that would be fantastic. It's on all of the information that's passed out, the newsletter. The more people that follow, the more people that get that information. Thank you.
Said Mrs. Fenton.
Well, I mean, maybe we need to go the old fashioned way, which is putting out the signs, you know, how,
Mhm.
that's what we used to do. Just, maybe we need to put out some signs, down payment assistance, rehab.
Mhm.
This is just not computing to me that we have such a
We
strong.
need somebody to do that.
yeah.
And nobody's taking advantage of it.
Anything,
I'll get this on.
any more questions, Mrs. Fenton? Any more questions?
No, I think I have explained that horse to death.
On the other side, in the side, Ms. Jones, go straight down, and right to left. Ms. Jones.
What's that? Am I missing?
Yeah. It just seems like we don't have effective communication. I still we have a barrier, like you mentioned, the people think that it's invading their privacy and want to go to it. Cause I think a lot of homes out there riding around saying they bad news and all that. I haven't approached it a little yet, but I intend to. But that's one of the problems that I see. And so far as the communication, in the past, they said that someone is hired to do the media. Somewhere.
I don't know
Why can't she go already?
We can't.
So,
Whoa.
okay.
Let Mr. Jones ask the question and then let, Mr. B answer now.
After I left that position, they didn't hire anyone for the position, okay? We just used a contract, an existing contract that we had with a company that was already hired specifically for e-board. And then we piggybacked off of that and extended a little longer to service all of the CRAs until we were able to not only hire someone, but also push out that RFP that I was talking about like a year ago that I wrote about comms to cover all of the needs of the entire Tampa CRA. So that currently is on hold. I don't even have any updates about that. I wish that it could be something that it is simulated from the east side. So if there's issues here, speak with Brenda, if it's through a motion, however, to just get some feedback about comms, and then we'll relay that over to make sure that now it's starting to become an issue, because I will flat out say that we have to have better communication. We cannot do it ourselves. I know I can't, because I'm actually doing the work. So for me to also communicate is not gonna be effective. I'm reposting on my LinkedIn because right now Tampa CRA has a LinkedIn page, a Facebook, they have a Threads, they have a Instagram, and I repost on all of my personal accounts with the Tampa CRA post. I do reach out to the city and I say, hey, we have this going on, we have this outreach, because I do know people from the city comms area, but they're not the CRA. So they also have to go to their people, and if they say, hey, they're on their own kind of with the comms.
Okay, so why can't you pay for that?
We have budgeted for it.
We can.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that I have.
Okay.
Any more questions, Ms. Jones?
Yeah, and then you said something about the CRA, something on the east side. Is that in Key West Tampa, anybody?
Yeah, so let me explain that event real quick. So I'm gonna be giving Brenda the flyer for the event, but I am going to be probably reaching out to the chair to talk about some of the west side projects, because what we're doing is we're gonna have a community fair at Fair Oaks on that new park, that's a new community center on the east side, that's gonna have the tax collector there, it's gonna have some talking about wills and testaments, property appraisal is gonna be there, the housing counseling agency is gonna be there, there's gonna be some banks that have money there to help property owners if they wish to also do stuff to their home. So all of that will be inside. And then the bus tour is going to tour all of the houses the lots that are going to be available on the east side, and then I'm bringing them to the west side to show them the domain projects, and they're going to also come by the park. And then also downtown to Massey, so it's almost gonna be like showcasing two parks, and then the rest is all residential. So it's gonna talk about all of the available residential projects that we have in all of the CRAs. That's just a, area that I have access to. I have access to their oaks, so that's why I'm using their facilities to do it.
And you mentioned something about the down payment. You said you have to keep it under that 400.
Yeah, so the maximum sale price is, purchase price is 450.
So the person that's applying for the home, that you said that, you have like two CRA, two CAC members, and the total is 5. So the person, applying for the, down payment assistance, how much do they have to come up with? I know they have to go through a program.
It's $2,000. Yeah, they have to have 1,000, in their checking account, but it's 2,000 that they have to verify that they have. And that 5-member committee is for the unit creation, that's for the developer projects. Portion, it's not. Yeah, yes,
And how many people did you have attending these events?
yeah, it was minimal, I would say no more than like 20 people.
Yeah, I got the message up. A lot of people are going to get.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't get there. But I tried to make it there by 2, but you had already gone. Yeah. Sent out a lot of information.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
No
All
problem.
right, this is, Tim Young. This is, Lee.
I think 2 things. The first is the criteria you have for income limits. I noticed there's nothing from the 30 to 50% of AMI for one, and then for the 1940s first street. Is this what it's going to be like when we see property in the area, that it's going to go to a nonprofit, and that the only income eligible person would be in the 80 to 120 of AMI? Because that keeps out people at 30 to 50 or 30 to 50%.
So this was this, so the 80 to 120% AMI, those families are the individuals that have income to buy homes. So those are the individuals that have the credit, they have the savings, and they have the capacity to purchase housing. That's going to be a home purchase, it's not going to be rental.
There are programs, so they're not for individuals, even at 30% of AMI. Granted, it might be limited, but are there not programs that are available for individuals at 30% of AMI, or even a little bit higher, that, prefer?
Yeah, it's very limited, even probably in Tampa Housing Authority. It's becoming an issue with them, it's the 30%, the 50%. We're not able to subsidize hundreds of thousands of dollars to get them to purchase a house in this market right now. Those are more for the rental, which is what I'm getting into here, like just kind of distinguishing the 80 to 120, which is more of that home ownership person. And then the 50, that 30, 50 into that 80 mark is the rental. Now, I would say that, people try hard, they build up their capacity, and there's multiple channels of down payment assistance. So it's not only us, if they also get city and you work with a lender, there's individuals at that 58,000 a year that's able to purchase in this market at that 375 mark. But it's really hard to get 30 percent, rather than just rental, if they have any type of voucher or something like that.
Is the Cypress and Howard gonna be a rental?
Cypress and Howard is going to be, rental.
Oh, no,
No?
Rental and
it better not be.
ownership. It's gonna have a
I'll
mix.
be quiet until you get.
And
We're not
then-
there yet, yeah.
And you're gonna have a visioning
Say half
session
homes on
to
your-
do, if you're gonna have a visioning session for that too, I'm gonna explain that. But they're gonna, it is gonna be up to feedback from the community. And it's going to be seeing if they can do both options of rental and home ownership, similar to a project that we have now. If it's home ownership, is gonna kind of,
So what about Cypress?
I'm gonna explain it in a minute, it's at the end.
Yeah, that's a separate, that's the next.
Yeah, that's a separate.
Anything else, Mrs. Williams?
Not right.
Okay, Mr. Young, yeah. And then you, Mr.
Yeah, I think, listening to Jeanette, you actually asked a question of my concern.
Oh,
You know, if you put in money, there's gotta be a coordination with communication, right? You know, how can people have access to these funds? So if you put them out in, 2025, walk up to one to administration. Right? And 2026 start, so we're gonna put this money out. And by the time we know it, nobody's out there, that's most people don't know. And domain, what are they getting out of this? I mean, what is the cost for each of those? Maybe a
What you getting from us?
Yeah.
Oh, the average they're gonna say in the market, so it's what they're binding to say under 450.
When you said the 450,
Yes.
400, nobody at 180 to one, this person have will be able to purchase a home. What is the, how much is the down payment?
The down payment, they could get up to $100,000 plus more. Because they're working with different lenders who also have their down payment assistance.
But I,
Some of these transactions are taking 3 DPS.
yeah, we going through the same process. Most people at 80% are not gonna be able to buy anything close to $300,000. They're not gonna have that, because this thing has to be realistic. So nobody at 80%, gonna be able to purchase home now. Even with the $100,000 down payment, and how long is that gonna last? How much, what is the total volume of down payment assistance for you guys?
So right now, you mean in our budget, your
Yeah,
budget?
yeah.
Yeah, what is the budget for DPA that you got there?
Oh, it's right in front of you guys too. So down payment assistance, we have. Wait a minute, $1,706,883.
And we're gonna say,
Mhm.
we partner with housing, so once, this is the process, so once they work at once they go to the housing counseling agency and get price. They then get the reservation number, work with their realtor to their home. We get tapped in if that home is within a CRA. That's when they get city money and they get CRA money up to the $100,000 to purchase a house. And in addition to that, all these housing counseling agencies have the relationship with their lenders, local lenders that have their down payment assistance product as well.
So the $100,000 down payment is that available now?
Yeah,
For how long?
until the money runs out.
Okay, so how do people, because, is there a partnership structure that you have with, can I get information to come out more time, because we have lineups.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And they should be working also with your housing counseling agencies. So whoever does your home,
Martin Jones?
with Margaret Jones should be working with the housing counseling agencies of the city. That process has been established for years. Since I first was with the city back in 2018. The process of working with the housing counseling agency. Because I know for the domain info phase 1, I closed on 4 homes from Tampa from vouchers. From your, for the families.
Yeah, well, this is the question, what is domain getting out of?
They're just giving them 75K to keep it reserved. They, first of all, public record, domain didn't come looking for them. They didn't come looking for this project. They were gonna build up these homes with or without me. Brenda and myself looking at Bruce trying to acquire property on Squeeze next to the house that we already own.
Mhm.
I happened to just call Domain up because I do have a relationship with Domain, and I asked them, hey, run me some rehab numbers on my Spruce house. Can you give me what it wants to take to rehab it, because they know construction in and out. And then I said, hey, I have also this land, these 3 homes, like, we were looking to purchase.
We were gonna purchase them.
We're under contract with those homes. I said, say what? I said, why, I talked to you about giving you a subsidy, minimum of 75K per home to reserve it for affordable housing, because again, they were gonna get bills with or without us. So they already own the house, so 75K is holding it at that income limit for the reservation of that affordability period. So it's reserving affordable stock for a period of years. And it gets sold to an income eligible household. So,
Forgive my, what is the actual number, in front of, I just said that,
Okay.
that's the down payments.
with my staff,
What's your name?
can you look up,
Oh, I can't get up.
yeah. Okay. Me. Oh, okay, so my person's name is Latasha Hicks.
Hayes, so.
Hicks, Hicks. And, her phone number is, ready for it? 813-274-8215. And give that to her and say, that you're inquiring about that program, because we have it. And we already spoke to, we're in constant contact with the housing counseling agencies that hold the clients. So we're constantly saying we have West Tampa money. This is what we have. She's actually going to talk to them, doing a lunch and learn. I believe in 2 weeks. She's going to do a lunch and learn with a villager fund tomorrow. She's always at different lunch and learns to talk about the West Tampa CRA down payment assistance, and also provide a map to make sure that the villagers know where they should kind of look for the home, and then have the conversation with us.
That is Mr.
Yeah, that's it, for me. Thank you.
Mr. Barrett.
Okay, I'll make this quick. I'm gonna piggyback on what he said. What's the current AMI? You know, the number?
For 80% is 58,000.
No, what is the amount? 50,000?
58,000 the AMI for 80% household.
What's the income they have to have it be at 80%?
58,000.
15?
58,000.
Yes. And they're gonna buy a $400,000 house?
It's not gonna be at 400,000.
I mean, the ones on Spruce and McDill, all between 350 to 400,000.
Yeah, it's probably at that lower 350. I'm selling homes in each side for 375 to 80% AMI. Right now,
How are they affording?
80% AMI, 375.
How are they affording?
They're just supporting it. There's individuals that are paying off their debt. Come visit me June 11th, where I'm discussing this publicly to the PRA board. I'm breaking down purchase prices and the subsidy that it takes to purchase a house. I don't know how they're doing it. They're getting lender problems asking.
This before the buy down.
Whoa, listen to that. Talk to Mr. Barrett.
So the purchase price could be 375, but once you buy down, it's gonna be less than.
That's right. In other words,
Well, Jeanette, let Mr. Barrett finish this question. Cause I still haven't signed
So
it.
the purchase price could be 43, but the down payment assistance and the other subsidy, that's what buys down and makes it affordable for the buyer to afford.
Even with 20% down, it's still
They
3,000.
get 3.5%, they do FHA, or some of the lenders have 3% conventional, or some of the lenders do not have no down payment,
I'm
required.
looking at a $3,000 minimum, mortgage, PMI, everything for someone making $50,000 a year.
No, they're company. Okay, I'll take your, thing, I'll bring out the statistics on that.
I'm just curious, that's all, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
And then the second thing was about the Bruce properties. The main homes get bought those for 127. They were on the market for 700,000. And the realtor didn't want to budge. What happened between that and 127? Nobody found out about it because I have friends that love restoring historic homes, would gladly have restored it and not knocked it down. Nobody knows. Next thing you know, they get it for a third of the price. Like he was saying, what's Domain Homes getting out of this deal? Something doesn't add up.
I just wanna publicly say this, because I feel like I wear a bullet on the back of my back for doing homes, and I'm not associated. Meaning that I don't get kickbacks, talk with them, I don't know how they make the deal work, they've been doing this for years, okay? Again, I wanna emphasize, Domain didn't need us for this. I was trying to create multiple avenues of affordable housing with what I got. I was trying to do what I can with what I have. So like I'm proposing, because I don't think, I don't know if everyone was involved in knowing about the bill that they had back in the day for affordable housing, but they made this work with the east side for infill development. So, they already know how to build at an affordable product. And I just offered them to hold it, to restrict it for the West Tampa CRA for that period of time. So here goes this to restrict it. It has to be sold to income eligible buyers. They actually requested that their contract is, they only get the 75K if it sells to an income eligible buyer, because we're still trying to make this West Tampa work with what we have, the sales price, income, debt, and all of that with the client. So we are starting to work. I can't help about people's opinion about Domain. I just have to use the vehicles and tools that I have at my disposal to make it work, to create some type of affordable housing.
No, I'm not accusing you. You do what you have to do. I'm just finding it that they already had the house. They were gonna build it. They still somehow acquired it at a third of the price.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, less than.
That's a real estate.
Yeah, I don't know. That's-
Yeah, and in historic houses too.
Yeah.
Historic houses, are gonna be not,
You got no questions, Mr. Burley?
no, that's it. That's-
All right, let's see some.
Tony, I just, I might have missed this, but I thought we gave Domain $750,000 for that project. 700, and that's the difference. That isn't reflected, I don't think. In the-
No, because after everything was finalized, they only provided the 4 lots for this first. So we only gave 300,000. We only have reserved 300,000, and our grants are reimbursable. So we didn't give them nothing.
75 each.
But our-
75K each.
Approved. Giving them $750,000. I remember that because it bothered me.
Yeah, and it was for the 7, it was for
Oh,
the homes at that time.
Because, no, I know what you're,
Seven homes.
it had to do not just with the unit creation, but it had to do with an owner coming in and being able to apply for down payment assistance, right?
No, we didn't reserve any.
We didn't, okay, never mind.
Because
So
we
I was
were
wrong.
enough down payment assistance to cover this transaction.
Okay,
When
Then
they
it's only
gave it
75.
To you,
Yeah.
they had more lots in the page.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Over the time, waiting on us and the process to go through, they called me straight up, hey, these other lots have to go market rate because new people are already inquiring about them. I said, save these proofs because we have a house on Spruce and I want to make an impact on the street. A whole entire, even if it's just a block, half a block, I want an impact for us here in the West Tampa CRE that we're doing home ownership. So I said, please save me those 4, and that's the only 4 that you all are going to be paying for on the bucket. So that's why it was that original larger price. Thank you.
Okay, now, trying. What y'all just heard is why I've been telling you. Okay? The city is stuck stupid on single family homes. Okay, so they done got to the point now they're not affordable. Okay, how much down payment assistance you come with? That's one damn house. And you're putting up millions of dollars for it. One house. Maybe one family. Maybe a couple. That is a bad rap. You can't build single family homes to solve the affordable housing, the homeless problem in Tampa, Florida. Ain't gonna happen. Okay, it's almost corrupt what they do. They ask. Let's just go back and start from the beginning. First of all, can somebody in this business, can you explain how fiscal year for West Tampa 30% allocation is $5 million? We only get $8 million, $8.5 million a year. How can 30% be $5 million? How can 30% be $5 million if we only get $8 to $9 million?
The 30% allocation, it probably includes.
What 30% of what?
No, 30% of 10, okay, so you were talking about the budget?
13 million.
3 million was 30% of 10 million.
Allocation is
10 million.
5 million for 2025. So 30% of our total allocation for 2025. So, and I know we're gonna give about 8 or 9 million. So 30% of 8 or 9 million.
It's rollover.
It's
she probably
rollover.
has
I don't wanna hear about no rollover.
No, I think,
That list of,
Yeah.
that is playing games. Just like this whole budget tonight is playing games, and we ain't got to it yet. Because it doesn't tell us what's encumbered. It doesn't tell us projects that ain't been done. Okay? And I'm about ready to go to Utmire and complain to the Attorney General about it. And listen to me. 30% of what? Of a rollover? It doesn't say that. It says of 30% of fiscal year 2025. A rollover includes a previous year. It doesn't clarify rollover. That's misleading.
I can correct the slide.
No, don't correct the flyer. I'm gonna correct the process. Now we're talking about 30% in 2026, 8 million. It jumped up 3 million. How's that? Get the real number for the fiscal year, not the rollover. The
Okay.
rollover should have been committed and something done. Why not? Well, let's just look at that. Committee numbers, flip to your chart. Which is what?
Are
Your
we going?
chart. This chart in your package.
Oh.
The West Tampa Housing Industry Progress Dashboard for March 2026. Let's just look at the dashboard. Let me just show you what the nonsense is in the city. And it's housing nonsense. And I'm tired of hearing it. We're gonna go give people $250,000 on a $700,000 house, and the only damn person making money is the seller. The man is making a profit. They're not for profit. They are for profit anyway. The last time I checked. So they're gonna make a profit. The question he asks is how much profit are they making? That's the question I'm asking. How much profit did they make? Forget all that down payment system. They get paid for selling that house. The down payment helped them get the house sold. But what did they make in their pocket? $200,000, $300,000 profit? What is it? What is the profit? I'm talking. What is the profit that we're making and paying to these developers to make the profit? What is the profit that they have, Mr. B? Do you track the profit that these developers make? The profit. No. See, this is the problem. Okay, because last time I bring it up, we're gonna find a scam going on. People are making a profit. Nobody's gonna build something for a loss of Joe Rouse. Okay, so what I'm telling you is that we're sitting here subsidizing people to make a profit. The whole idea of a nonprofit was not to have a large storefront. We built 3 houses in West Tampa CDC right over here on Paramount Street and sold them all for over $160,000. Okay, low interest rate, way back in the day. Okay, right across the street, they still sitting on Paramount Street. Okay, this stuff. Now, we're sitting here now knowing that ain't nothing going for less than that. No one is asking what the profit that these developers, and if you notice, the city's pushing us, trying to push us, and I'm not even gonna let them push us to this unit creation nonsense. What units you gonna create by $500,000 a house with a limited funds? All this down payment, all this money we spend on one down payment assistance. You're right, Mr. Beverett.
Correct.
Beverett.
Yeah.
You can rehab houses cheaper than that. With frames, instead of knocking it down and putting all that. They won't do it because the Rouse got 4 of them right there ready to go. They don't have a rental rehab program. And when they said they want to put room Citing against it until they get the damn rehab program for us people that pay taxes and got houses out there to rehab. Why the hell are we gonna have rental units when all they've been running their mouth about is single family homes? Mr. Alonia will tell you HUD considers a rental unit to be affordable housing. Just because you call it rental don't mean it ain't affordable housing. The city has co-opted and gave everybody the idea that it's gotta be a single family home to be affordable housing, maybe a townhouse to be affordable housing. That is a misnomer. Rental property, apartment is affordable housing. So I wanna know what the property is. And I'm on tape right now, I ain't through talking. Now let's just look back at it. I sat here patient, listen to everybody, but I know more than everybody in there about this nonsense. Let's just look at performance, the housing, our money, dashboard. West Tampa Housing District, Mr. River, the HRRP program. Oh, wow. We found out what that acronym means. You know, it very well explains that was the Housing Rehabilitation and Renovation Program, repairing roofs and HVAC. That's what I thought we couldn't do HVAC. I thought that had to be a code violation. Remember that? Oh, you can't do HVAC. Yeah, you can. No, you can't. Okay, but now I guess you can. Okay, let's think about that. So let's look at the chart. 0 applications received. 0 applications received. 0 homes assisted, and total dollars spending $25,000. Well, what the hell are we spending money for if we assisted no one, had no applications received, and homes assisted? So where did the $25,000 go to? That's one question. Yeah.
Okay, so that is ongoing testing fees and work for the rehab projects that we have in effect for West Tampa. So it's that is just for that month.
Well, guess what? See, this is the problem with the city. They're coming in here with these snapshots talking about this month. So is this the cumulative amount since the beginning of time? This 25,000? And what is that?
On the bottom is.
What is the accumulation? Is this for the fiscal year? Is this for the?
It's fiscal year. We only.
So for the whole fiscal year, which started last October 1st to now, April 21st, 2026, because the fiscal year for the city starts October 1st and ends September 3rd every year. So we already well beyond halfway through the fiscal year, and we've done 0 on HRRP. And I'll tell you why. It ain't got nothing to do with communications. It's got to do with the fact that nobody trusts the city and the program doesn't work. Face the reality. It has nothing to do with it. Because if it was workable and everybody knew about it, we'd be out of money right now. No, let me finish. You don't say what you said.
Mr. Robinson?
No,
Working on it. We just started this on the west side.
no. We just didn't start this on the west side.
The momentum for it.
No, we don't need no damn. Didn't you just tell me that we had programs on rental, on housing rehab way before y'all changed it 4 or 5 times? We have millions of dollars. You're getting 30% of $8 million and $9 million a year, and you're not doing a damn thing with it. Okay? And this results show that in March, there's nothing being spent. And this is what we see every time we come in here. Show me a month where it ain't zeros. This is fiscal year. She talking about this was for March. No, don't show me March. Call it fiscal year, and I make a motion that from now on, starting next month, we need fiscal year 2026 report. We don't need that for no 1 month. We need to see what the conglomerate's going to do. Matter of fact, we need to know what it was from the beginning when we started putting money away. This ain't the first budget we're doing tonight where we put money away for housing to be rehab, for housing to be down payment, and all of that. Okay, this ain't the first budget. If they from line, look at the budget, you see $30 million down there ain't spent yet. Down payment system, we heard a lot about that. 0. And it says year to date, So that don't make sense with what they just told us. They told us that this was just for the month of March, but I think it said YTD, closing down payment assistance. YTD, does that mean year to date? Does that mean
I
this
just
year to
said
date?
that. I just said that the year to date was on the bottom, and I said we provide monthly reports.
No, I'm looking at down
And
payment
it's all
assistance.
fiscal year 26.
I'm looking at down payment assistance program, it says YTD closed 0. You said this report here is for March. I said, well, why is it for the fiscal year? You said it was for the fiscal year. I said, well, don't say that on HHRP.
Got
See,
it.
this is the kind of communication that makes no sense. It should say, all of this should say YTD. If that's the case, not just TYTD closes. Salary dollars suspended, YTD 0.
Got it.
If your program 0. So they need to say YTD, if this is a YTD report,
Mhm.
I don't know what the hell it is. It's a piece of paper with a bunch of zeros on it, I know that. And I know that we got millions of dollars in our bank account for this West Tampa CRA. And the total out of all of the YTD programs at the bottom of the paper says $135,000. What? And we got millions. Board member. Let me finish. Let me go back to the front. So right off the bat, this is talking about we putting 30% away for a rainy day. We putting 5 million. I want to see the calculation for the 5 million, Ms. Brenda. 8 million. I want to see the calculation of 30% because is that year to date? That's rollover, no over. What's going on? If it's 0 being spent, then you take 30%. It looks like it's increasing. We don't get that. We don't get 8 million in a total application we give for ad valorem taxes every year. You'll see that on the budget coming up. If we ever get there. Let me move on. By the way, Mr. Brennan, I want to invite Ms. Nell Young to our meeting next morning. Move right along because she need to hear this. Now, we need some completed projects that get people motivated. We don't have nothing completed.
Mhm.
We had the one guy up there that we helped fix his roof right there on campus. Got a big event up there and everybody saw he got his roof. He came out, Mr. Rosewater's name was. He came out and talked to everybody. Man, what we got completed? We concentrated on parks, but this housing thing, I ain't buying this down system for one person, one house. You cannot work your way, and you're spending, if you look at the amount of money you put into that one project, you get one house, one family. Now, next question, RFA, use RFA. What's RFA? I don't see the code here to break down. Use RFA to transfer to nonprofit. What's RFA?
Request for applications, that's the way we
A
have to.
request for
Applications,
who to acquire? Who
to put it out to the community for them to respond, the development community.
Who
We have
issues the
to,
RFA?
we issue it through the
The
purchasing,
CRA and the real estate department.
the CRA department.
Issues the RFA to nonprofits like
Mhm.
Domains of Nonprofits.
No,
Mm-mm.
Mr. Jones,
They know.
We're not-
for the 1940 Spruce Street, that RFA is going to be released, and a nonprofit, there's multiple nonprofits that I know are willing to
Well, that's
develop in
fine.
the
So we
area.
have nonprofits here that can go out.
Correct, so they can go out, that will be
But we
something to
can't
say, any,
participate because we sit on the
nonprofit.
committee.
correct.
Okay, well, that ain't true because Evo Casa and the East Tampa people just got their $5 million. That's a lot of being told. Now I'm getting real close to getting ready to get serious about complaint with both Upmeyer's Attorney General and the FBI for corruption and collusion. Okay, and this is true because you're hearing nonsense. We have all this money and it ain't going nowhere. And I'm tired of the city just talking. Another thing. What is long-term affordability requirements? Sale will include long-term affordability requirements. What is long-term affordability requirements?
The different programs that we have a 50-year affordability term. That ensures that project remains affordable rent, AKA rent restricted for a period of 50 years. That means every year, the CRA has to go out and monitor those units to make sure that they're being rented to those incomes
Okay,
that were proposed.
so they have to go and verify the person and their income ain't changed. See, that's why people don't want to participate.
No,
They
to
don't.
make sure that that unit remains affordable for example, can I explain the projects? Because
I want you
if
to
someone
explain,
can,
how do you determine a long-term affordability requirements being met?
because it's a yearly monitoring. We have a third-party monitoring service that goes out, contacts the property, building. So let's just take a step back, because I know there's frustration, and I'm trying hard, I can't.
I'm
I'm
frustrated.
My head is about to fall out. It is.
I'm frustrated.
Because I'm just trying my best to please everybody. So,
You can't. You can't, listen, I understand your frustration, but if you can't handle the heat, get out the kitchen. This is the bottom. This is west side, this ain't the east side. And as long as I'm here, I'm gonna ask the questions, and I'll make sure that everybody can hear the question, because I know there's some more going on than what y'all hearing tonight. And then they want us to put more money in. We wanna put another 30% in. Okay?
no, actually, I was coming to tell y'all that things are changing, that maybe you need to.
I'm gonna get a debate
not
to say.
have
So,
Okay, so long term, I asked a simple question, whether long term, we're gonna go hire a third party. Gonna go spend more money to hire somebody to do something.
We haven't already.
Okay, but who's paying that? It comes out of our money, right? So there's another person we got to go pay for what? Next, what happens when it gets sold? Say we bought Spruce Street years ago. Sitting there vacant, ain't making no money. That's sitting there. I think it was a rehab, a brand new house. It was in good shape, decent. They ain't talking about the main home, the only one knows how to rehab house or whatever rehab costs. That's nonsense. The main homes are the same company that got all them 3 lots and had a big scandal going on with the 25 lots they got. Get me started.
I think you have to take this.
So my question is, what happened to the sales money? Where does it go, Mrs. Throne?
Pardon me.
Where does the sales money when we sell Spruce Street go?
It goes right back into the CRI, to your fund.
Where? What part?
Usually it goes back to where it came from.
Which is?
So if we're selling, I don't know where it eventually came from, but it would go back into your affordable housing line items, probably right there. But you can direct it. I mean, it could go back into neighborhood improvements, as long as it stays into.
Who makes that call and when do that call?
We'll talk to budget. Typically, when we actually encumber money to a specific project, if it's canceled or something happens, it goes back into that fund. That's typically it.
Okay.
And then you have to do a reappropriation.
We paid to.
I'm not sure about that, but we can find out.
Spruce Street years ago.
I mean, yeah,
And why did it just sit there?
that was before my time, but it's not going to sit there anymore because that's what tonight's about. It's about coming up with a plan to move this money, to spend this money.
Let me give y'all another example of foolish. We paid, done paid, getting paid $400,000+ for that blue house sitting on Benny. And $400,000 for that. Did we close?
It's not closed yet. There's some issues with it, with code enforcement,
Listen,
460.
let me move on, look sharp here. Tonight, all I heard a lot about was unit creation, developers, because I'm tired of talking about developers, 1 unit, the 20 units, the 20 units. The only people making money without money is the developers. And before anybody gonna have any kind of equity in one of these houses, it's gonna be a long time. Okay? Now, here comes the question that I wanna ask, so that's that key slip, but I guess we'll get to it on the sites and houses. And I heard the word room. Oh, no. We're talking about, I thought we were gonna have townhomes, because the city doesn't have a rental program. Do they, Mrs. Bones?
They do have a rental rehab program.
They do?
And I
No,
just
does the
mentioned,
CRA have a rental rehab program?
yes, we do. That's what HRP is. I just mentioned that we
No,
have
run-
3
if you own
portions of it.
property,
I just mentioned
Okay.
that we have an owner occupied that's available right now, okay? We have a tenant
so,
ready.
so if a person, How can you have an owner run a rehab?
Let's fit it here.
Mr. Jones, we have a housing rehab renovation program right now for owner occupied units.
So,
And we also have,
I'm trying to understand, how can an owner has to stay in the house and then they can rent it out at the same time?
we have three portions of that program, okay? The first one is owner occupied people that have been living there for years, longtime residents that own their house for years. The second portion is for owners who are renting out the house to individuals. We use their income to qualify them. The third portion that we are finalizing right now is the vacant property one. That property owners that live in the area are able to take advantage of that and get their house.
Okay, so
rehabbed. So
right
it's
now,
three portions of it.
so right now you have to have somebody staying in a house that you're renting before you can get any money to rehab it from the city. That's called owner
Owner occupied and tenant occupied.
owner occupied rehab. Okay, now.
Yeah,
It's
so
called
it's
tenant
owner
occupied.
and then tenant
Tenant
occupied.
occupied.
So the owner is long, correct,
Okay,
correct.
so we got that, and that program you didn't go over tonight, did you?
That's all part of HRP. That's all part of
And
HRP.
how much money we got for that?
Okay, so the money for HHRP,
Mhm.
we have, what's remaining in the fund is $1,548,316.
1 million.
One million
And
five,
according to the charter,
Mhm.
we don't have anybody that bid on that.
somebody
For
did.
the March, for the month of March, we haven't had,
What it says year to date?
for year to date down here, we expended 135,000 for the HRP.
What about last year?
I'll get you that
We can
data.
go
We're
back.
just working with current data because that's what we have right now. I'll get whatever we have from FY 25. This is FY 26. Not until now, I knew that you wanted from FY 25 and FY 26.
So I'm looking at from the beginning of time,
Okay,
when we started doing housing programming, it started to look like, I would like to know, how many houses have we done? For any one of these programs,
okay.
and you're gonna find out it's next to none. That's what you're gonna find out. Now, when are y'all gonna have a rural rehab program that I participate in, people that own houses that are wood frames that, because as you knock down a wood frame, you start to destroy the historical fabric of West Tampa. Okay? And I own several of them right around the corner. And I'm sick and tired of sitting there, I can't participate board committee members, because I sit here, it's a conflict of interest by Mr. Shepherd. And after the night, I think that I'm gonna have to do what I got to do to make something happen right here. Because I know that Evo Casa got their thing funded, even though the lady sat on the was sitting. I know the CAC, who came to me at the chairs meeting, got their approved even after the city had approved it, the board. So there's gamemanship going on. If they wanna play with me, I know how to play with the big boys, I know how to embarrass you. And if you notice, the stall, why you stall? I'm not going to do section 8. I know that's 30% AMI. I'm willing to rent the section 8. And the city ain't got no program for that. And I'm talking about a single family house, not no multi-apartment units. A single family house with a yard, they don't want to get no money for nobody to fix that up. A wood frame that ain't gonna cost that much, is all wood. Why? Because they want to jack Joe Robinson around. I'm gonna tell you, y'all wanna play that game? We're gonna play that game, because once I make an application, which they, if you look at your list, they took my houses off the here under the commercial grant stuff.
You're gonna talk about rental.
Because I want to do residential rehab, rental rehab. So I said, well, you can't do that. So I said, okay, then I'll do commercial grant. Okay, let me ask you another question. Is there any legacy status for owner occupied rehab?
There's
What-
no match.
There's not, no, that's for the commercial side, but for my side, I'm doing a legacy proposing that Cliff is reviewing for, there's not, there's one that gets prorated each year, meaning that it's like my funding goes per amount assisted. So for example, if you get less than 15K, you only have a 5 year. Up to 100K is 30 years, but each year is prorated to release a percentage of that until it's fully eliminated, and that's what it's split in versions now.
The
That's
property
what
is,
split.
what you see is,
I
you see
did
that,
the thing, I'm
what
trying to
you
get
see
rid
is
of the
people that
building.
own property like myself, and I'm gonna use myself, because that's the only way I can explain it to you. They get discriminated against, with developers getting hundreds of thousands of dollars of down payment assistance for one house. Is what you see going on. That's an inequity. That's a constitutional violation.
The buyer gets the down payment.
And then there's a profit. There's no profit you make when you fix your house up and rent it out. You have to wait to get your income coming. Okay? And I know the city had a little rehab program that I participated in back in the
Is
80s.
that this one?
Long program.
Should we bring it up?
I'm gonna leave it at that. So you working on a non-occupied owner rehab program, which is gonna be brought up again.
Right now it's in legal, so hopefully it will be by July time, because right now it's multiple things that I'm working on in relation to all of the initiatives. Because when it was pitched, I just want to bring some history, because you like history, Mr. Joe. When this 30% was pitched, there was no plan for the 30%.
It was actually came
Work to
down.
put down the plan, and I have to go through the hurdles with legal, make sure that this works, and this is why it's taking
But here's my
the
problem.
time that it
Here's
works.
my problem, Steve. And I guess we'll roll into that now. The cycles and how affordable housing.
Yeah, let's just
development.
Well, you want to go into the
No,
house?
that's-
Are we
they-
past
they-
it?
None of
Okay.
these are occupied.
You want to do the presentation?
None of them, we can roll into those.
Can we grow
None of
into?
these are occupied. But you said that they're gonna be rental units.
No, I apologize,
No,
okay? I don't know what it's gonna be, because we're gonna go. put it
Tonight is
out.
visioning.
Because I
Tonight
would
is
say,
a picture.
if you're gonna have rental,
Okay.
rental for unoccupied, on a development, and it's new construction, because we was told new construction
Okay, let's go
is not
to,
allowed
Okay.
with salary money last week.
Just so y'all know, tonight was visioning. Yeah,
commercial, you can't spend for new construction, residential is different.
Different.
You can
But what
do
is this? This is
new construction with residential,
these are townhomes that are residential uses,
correct,
so that's not commercial,
that's not commercial.
No, it's not.
This is what it's residential.
but they're not occupied.
so do y'all want to go into the
Okay,
presentation
so
and
let me
see it
just
real quick?
explain what this is, okay?
Yeah, I'm stop right there.
Okay,
My thing is, get a rental rehab program, none unoccupied by June 1st or else. That's all I'm saying.
Mr. Jones.
Say something, you said.
Huh?
I have a couple of questions.
Well, go ahead, I'll give you my.
I'll make it really quick, okay? First, whatever happened to the concept of a starter home? Remember those days? I mean,
Yeah.
wonderful life. We built
Yeah.
a whole area of starter homes
First
that
time
are
home buyer.
half the price of a traditional home, that a young couple can move into, build up some equity, and then when they have children, they can go ahead and go up to a higher house. What about, why are we starting at $350,000 to $400,000 houses? That's the first thing.
So that's what market.
Yeah, because they're bigger houses, they're not smaller houses.
This is just one, I just wanna emphasize that it's just one project.
I
There is
understand.
gonna be multiple types of projects that are in the
But I'm
common core,
down for
with multiple
The
types of
second
things.
thing you're talking about the conflict, right? So,
Watch out.
I can't mention names, but the city is buying properties, right? That I know private people want. Why are we spending money on these properties when a private person is ready to buy them? Isn't it a waste? Is it one property, I'm not gonna mention the name, but it's going for like $650,000 to $700,000. Why are we spending all the money when a private person is gonna pay for it? I don't understand.
Because we want to increase the amount of affordable housing.
But it's not gonna become housing, this is a commercial property. It's a commercial property, so it's not gonna become housing. It's stuff that, and I can't pay it to you because it's a conflict, like I said, it's a conflict.
You through with your questions? Go ahead, this is,
Thank you, I just have a comment.
And I appreciate I think the problem that I see is we have these silos in the city and people are very good at justifying what they're doing and they're concerned about being accurate and all that. But we've lost the spirit of what we're supposed to be doing here, which is helping people fix up their houses.
Right.
What if somebody gets into your rental program and gets a raise? Can they stay in their home or do they have to move? Well, no, you're saying people are gonna go around and check on them and see if they're being rented to people that qualify.
Okay, let me explain what.
Well, I'm not done yet. Okay, that's one thing I have a problem. Another thing I have a problem is a lack of concern about historic preservation.
Okay.
And that is something that we have made supposedly a priority, right? But all these things end up getting knocked down, the developers don't want to deal with the hassle, they have a, you know, a way to do this, they have a formula that they like to follow. And so we're not preserving our history, we're not helping people who need help or who could just even use a little help, please. There's no incentive to maintain or improve your home. It's just, I think we've lost it. I think that the city in its legalistic and, you know, very, I'm losing my words here. They're missing the point. They're totally missing it. And I'm very disappointed. And I know you're doing your best and you work really hard, okay?
Yes.
And I appreciate that. I really do. But I don't see the results. And that's, I think, what Mr. Robinson is concerned about. That's what many other people on the board have voiced concerns. That we're not seeing the results of this hard work because we have lost our way. Okay, thank you.
Well, anyway, I'm sorry for harping on that, but I think the solution is a good man. All right, moving right along, go into, Cypress and Howard, affordable housing, this. I'm sorry,
No, I thought you had a question you were gonna answer.
Oh, it was about monitoring, it's not single family homes that we monitor. So for homeownership, the rental housing is just like Team City monitors them and ensure that they're still income, eligible and also that the unit is in good shape. That's the same thing that we're doing. Anything that we give towards these multi-family projects, we're gonna do the same monitoring, make sure that they're still income qualified. Most of these units are gonna be what we call rotating, floating units. That means that if a person makes more than they make for that unit, then they are, you know, can stay there because they have that sliding scale to go up to the next AMI. So it's not like we're telling them, you make 80% today, now to next year we make 90%. You have to leave the unit. No, if we say this project can service clients who make 80 to 120%, their max is 120%. So it's like you can stay in your unit. We don't say you have to leave that unit, and it's only for multi-family. Home ownership, after you met that income at that point, you never gotta see your income again. And we hope that your income increases.
Okay, we got all kinds of stuff for things that we can. Occupation for rehab. If a person does, was staying in the occupied, space. And something happened to them, the family could come along and acquire that space and you just go on and on. To stop the gentrification, and to keep the neighborhood where it was. You know, we're gonna have change. But it's just not helping poor people. And I'm on this board for poor people. I've been in Citywood all my life. I am here for poor people and it's not affecting poor people. We appreciate you and I know you do an excellent job. I'm a nurse, I know how hard it is. But these people. But it's just, I think simple simplicity and more hands-on is better than the city taking East Tampa stuff and putting it, you know, West Tampa put it together. Why it just can't be simple like when we had committee? Because I felt more like we got more done. I felt more of a gratitude that I was accomplishing something. But now it's like she said, it's just like, yeah, and the contractors have the upper hand. They can be like, we're not gonna have what we deserve. And that's not the making it use, it's just the years I put in. He's been at it longer than me, I've been at it about 35 years. And it's just sad to see your community just, other people take over it, and you feel like you have no control of it.
All right, let's move on to the sectors of housing, little housing development.
Okay, so,
Thank you, Ms. B. I'm the end.
yeah. So this is a site that we acquired, so there goes the site. So this is just a concept only, okay? This is put together by, the planning and, Mr. Bryce from our section. So this is just based off of their current zoning at the moment. And based off of this, they're basically, mentioning that we could go ahead and provide 28 units and total 48 parking spaces. So this is what, you could look at this further, but I just want to talk about how we're going to push this out to get developed, okay? Because that RFP that's going to be written is going to include community engagement. So that's number one, okay? Right now, it's being pressed because it does have some environmental issues. So we already in phase one, now we're doing two. I don't know about environmental process, but I know that they have to take the soil up, replace it with new soil, test it, that all that stuff is happening right now. So that's happening to prep it up to have a clean piece of land to then put this in to a request for proposal. As you know, per chapter 163, that's the way that us as a CRA can dispose of land is through request for proposal through our purchasing department. So in that, we're going to write, that's where we go ahead and write for there to be community engagement, there, that whoever brings that development agreement proposal is going to involve the community in multiple engagement. I don't know how it, where hopefully we'll find a location to have our first one that will branch off. But that's where you can get input on the area. I'm sure that they're going to put, just like we did with vision, well, on the east side with visioning sessions, we put a couple of concepts. And then basically based off of that, the developer is then going to design, what is going to be placed there. So again,
I'm sorry.
right now, like I'm making site readiness and the RFP creation. Now, what I want some feedback from the board here, this board right here, is looking at income limits. So this is what we need to very digest, and I want some feedback from the CAC about what income would you like for the project, for this project to be proposed to? Meaning, is it 80 to 140%? Is it 80 to 120? Is it 50 to 120? Because we have to give them the income that they have to work with. So that's one thing that we can't leave up to the developer. We have to, when we write the RFP, we have to put that we want them to design and build this project, right? So with that, they have to, in the RFP, already know what income is this project going to be catered to. For example, I have 3 RFPs on the east side. I can only compare it to the east side, I'm sorry, because that's where the bulk of everything has been going for a couple of years. That's the only examples I have. On the east side, I have a project in South Seminole Heights that the income limit is gonna be 80% to 120. So I wrote the RFP to say build rental and home ownership units for families who make 80% AMI to 120% AMI. So that's what we call a scope of services. In addition to the scope of services, we're telling them that we want to include that community engagement. So we're gonna have the income, what we're looking for in the community engagement point. So that developer is the one, just like we have player consultants come to do the community engagement to see what type of housing, based off of the concepts that they're gonna put together. So that, I'm writing that RFP right now, so I want it to be just a show, like the template. And I'm hoping that everything can be pushed through for at least after the site gets cleaned up, that it'll be like a later FY 27 release, maybe by August. So, just feedback from income at this point. Cause we're gonna ask them to pitch to us, whether it's rental or home, we're gonna ask them to pitch us different options once they get community engagement. Once they do the community engagement is when they will be like, okay, this is what we're here, just like we do on the
Okay, so I think you may have answered my question. In other words, we don't know yet, or the decision has not yet been
Nope.
made as to whether these will be rental or for sale units. This will be part of the town knows, but they could be rental, they could be for sale, they could be purchased. So what I think I'm hearing is that in the community engagement process,
Correct.
what the community wants
Correct,
will
so,
help develop.
cause you
whether
write
this
the
is-
scope, all of this is gonna be in the scope that we're going, the scope of services that we write is, this is the income limits for catering, you know, we want you to focus on. Propose to us. Rent, a couple of scenarios, rental home ownership. Different concept options, that is what they're going to propose to you in a big community engagement where you go around and put red dots, green dots, all of those identifying dots to make sure that you're fine with the direction that is taken. But the RFP is a tool. It can be.
That's not what we presented.
No, because that's just something, I wanted to come with
So-
something
Understand
that's
that.
already
We
done.
send family
So-
members, we could put on that,
Yeah.
instead of this, having all this,
Ownership.
all this, that building, that's an apartment building. Okay, why don't we have, the housing authority has developed all kind of houses down the street. You know, and I think they can give us some good input of what would work. You know, they get some townhouse, matter of fact, they look just like that. Not like that, but they got them down there on, but they could, I think somebody, the town home, I would sell for $500,000. Cause my friend just bought one, if he's doing it, but what I'm saying is, let me say, will they have to have a community benefit agreement on this yet?
Of course.
Okay,
So
so from the community engagement session, people will say, we think it needs to be mixed, 30 and 40, 30 and 80. It needs to be a range, not all at one type, not all up plus, you know, 80 to 150, not all low from 30 to 40. But to me, it needs to be mixed, if you're gonna be fair, because the whole idea is we're supposed to be having poor people, for a slum and blighted area. We invest a lot of money on this lot. But the product that we're giving out is not reaching the people that we're supposed to serve, which is slum and blighted, low income people. If it weren't for the housing authority, we wouldn't have anything going in West Tampa for that. Zero, like Ms. Jones said. So I understand that best use that if you want to make some money, is student housing, right? Because they're gonna be right there working at catering place across the street, according to the hospital, you know, like the man did, sick, back to go, he's making a lot of money with that student loan type thing. But why can't it be single family homes on Cypress? Which is right down the street, saying, why be single family homes? And why, I mean, you brought this concept, but why not a concept of single family home?
I just brought a concept to start the
I'm saying, where
conversation.
did you get that from whom?
Our planning, department.
Well, why did they plan for single family? Why couldn't they bring a say, go single family, look out?
Well,
I can
Yeah,
have
go ahead.
Jack, well, if you want to.
Well, you can look, they looked at the area, okay, what's around there and what kind of development is happening. They also looked,
You go west, east of,
that's true. But this This is on
Ones
Cypress.
like that.
They also looked at the zoning. They looked at the intensity that could be built there. You know, this will all have to be a PD going forward, which is a planned development. So you're no way around that. So one of the things is, you know, we're trying to reach as many people as you can, but not, and there's a balance to it. You could do single family homes there. There's nothing, it's kind of an interesting area because you're right between Cypress, you know, and Cypress between Howard, Armenia. You do, you do. So y'all can talk about it.
That you
Yeah.
got is a brick wood.
Go ahead.
I'm talking, Mr. My vice
You
chairman.
can. You could.
I think this being in my neighborhood, I don't know, listening to other one chime in as well. Whatever it is that we decide, because it hasn't been decided yet, this is just something for us to discuss and just have something to spark conversation. I think we need to have a traffic impact study. We need to make sure that there's sufficient parking. And we need to make sure that it meets the West Tampa overlay and there are no waivers. We need to prove to the young developers in the area that we can produce something and meet the West Tampa overlays at the same time. We've had an influx of density coming to North Hyde Park. And their parking issue and it's a big problem. We should actually just spent with mobility and parking enforcement yesterday. So we're discussing those types of things, coming up with residential parking and things like that to resolve the issue. So whatever it is that we're doing, we need to make sure that it's balanced with the neighborhood around it and it's not a deterrent for the residents and single family homes and condos and whoever it is, the community members around this area. So we need to add that to the RFP or if we need to make some kind of stipulation, so the developers know that they're expected to do those things.
Yeah, so I'll just give you a process of who, the reviews it, so I just write it and I include all of the scope. So the scope will have the AMI is trying to reach, and also it then gets sent to planning. Planning is the one that has all of that information that you just mentioned into the scope of services and the condition. Then the scope of services again includes community engagement, and then they'll also include for them the design and building. So it goes to one phone.
I'm sure it's some of the, and I made collections, you have, what limit do we have to density? Everybody's trying to put semi-attached. At the end of my block, I'm blocked in, I can't even see downtown, I'm not enjoying where I've been. And so I'm going to city council and it's kind of the there. And so I'm not good enough when it's come to the end. And it seems like it's just focused. Now, my daughter got crammed into somebody's house. And she's suffering now because of the traffic in the area. You can't even get out of my neighborhood unless I'm trying to get back in it. Because I'm not going wrong. And so the solution is keep calling downtown and recording and one calling story again. Put in for a study. So I have to do that. But the whole purpose is it's just overpopulated. And what's this would be semi-attached? Now I know how it started off in my neighborhood through the design department because they let them through. And once get up, it's a continuation. The city council just don't just get it.
Well, I agree with, I'm sorry. I agree with with our vice chair. I'm gonna tell you why. We need to prove that you have alley access. So you don't want to be getting back in and out of the streets. I mean, exactly. That's why I say single family, and you don't need all that parking spaces the same. Because when I see the same thing, I'm starting to take around the corner, see 5 cars walked up, right down the street, across the street, and see 5 cars walked up, everybody was staying in their house, they have to pay their mortgage. Okay, and that's what people are doing now. They're staying 4 and 5 behind. And they're all gotta have transportation, they all have their car, but we don't have no other kind of transportation that they can use as a pool. So I hear Ms. B, and she's doing a great job, and Jack's talking to get down. You've done a great job, single-handedly, with that. So, I'm just saying, I'm waiting for, when we're gonna have that first community meeting to hear us. Cause that's part of the rules now, after we purchase property, they gotta have it. And like Mr. Ramirez said, we wanna see our overlay used, hopefully it'll be the one before they change it. Now, again, we got a problem with that. They're trying to change it, and reduce it down from what we had, I don't know where it is. But, the alley access should be mandatory on this, no questions asked. I think that is too many places, that is too much. Site.
I was showing the alley on the
That's
Vargas
too
one, yeah.
That is too much. Okay, that's just too much. You probably take half of that. I ain't gonna take half one half of space, half one half of space. Will probably be better. Because the question
less
is,
dense.
then they're gonna say, well, we can't make any money and make the project work because we don't have the density. I'm go ahead, man. I just, but I think Mr. Ramirez and then I had to let then Mrs.
No.
No, okay,
I
Mr.
thoughts, but-
Because,
Right.
okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I don't know who your planning people are, but my God. Have they heard trees? Have they heard, I mean, this is, I would
Landscape.
reiterate what Mr. Ramirez said. I would say yes, because parking is always a problem, especially when you've got commercial or mixed use development. And people come and park and stay, like, depending on the type of use. Is it a beauty salon or a spa where people are gonna stay for 2 or 3 hours, or is it a place that's a convenience store where we can come in and out? And are the people who live there gonna impinge upon the retail spaces? And vice versa? How is that gonna work? And we're a heat island, okay? We need green space. We need to have, walkable streets. We want to be a walkable neighborhood, right? So nobody's gonna walk on that street. There's no shade. There's no place to sit if you're tired. It's right on Cypress, which is a busy street to begin with. So I want to say, please, I would stress the need for landscaping and to mitigate the heat island effect. It's very important to make it a livable.
Okay, Mr. Ramirez, now I guess you're gonna move on, so it won't be all night.
All right, just two things. I think like 40 minutes ago, we were talking about how affordability shouldn't be single family homes. I think there's gonna be a balance, and I think whoever is gonna deliver these proposals has, big lift to do because they have to balance affordability with single family, that's trying to create more with multi-family. The numbers have to work, so I think you just need to be prepared and open to accept that it might not be single family homes because that might not be what's, the affordable base. I don't know, I'm not the expert on that, but I think you have to expect. The other thing, I just want to bring up real quick, a long time ago, there was a project to widen Cypress. I think you just need to make sure, check the ability, because that might affect the setbacks in front, so they can widen.
So that's what Trump is supposed to go down. Trump's supposed to, that's the green spine, too.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down.
Cypress. It's supposed to be wide.
All right, this being, I know you asked earlier, and I don't know if it was premature or not, but about the AMI. And I would like to go with my head and to say, if we can at least entertain 60%.
Okay.
AMI, cause, 2 people, that's about $50,000.40. And somebody that's making $16 an hour, 2 people can afford to live in a house or a place that's, they make $50,000 a year.
So like the comfortable safety, so 120. 140 is workforce. It's not that, do you have, okay, you know, I have one more. We're spending so much time talking about like what numbers. There is such a thing as the market, and there is such a thing as, the reality of the cost of construction. And I just think that we need to rely on those issues a little bit more and not spend so much time trying to micromanage this project. Because there is gonna be, there are gonna be constraints. But with affordable housing, there is an income limit that you have to see. Because it's not open market, so that's why I keep on referencing the area median income, because that's what's affordable housing, and no matter what, we're mandated in chapter 163 to produce some type of affordable housing, that's part of the thing, so.
Single family, put 4 on it, be done.
That, you wanna do?
Well, I gotta wait for the chair to acknowledge.
Go ahead, go ahead, but Jeanette.
Well, I wasn't gonna weigh in, but since I'm hearing, I mean, I agree with everything I've heard, except.
I was just. I don't know if I thought, I just was automatically assuming it was gonna be multi-family. With this location on Cypress and Howard and the size of that, I mean, to me, it only makes sense to be a multi-family project. And I don't think it's suitable for single family homes. I mean, I know there's single family homes all up and down Cypress, but for this project and to have increase the number of affordable units, I think it needs to be multi-family, not single family.
55 stories.
There's also a bus stop on that
Yeah.
lot there, that segment. So
All right, so that's actually the end of my discussion, but I just want to mention this last thing. So I know you all, are going to talk about the budget today. The 30% allocation is a hot topic. I hear everything about it. It's even a hot topic in certain, to the board in certain areas like downtown and Channel, they're basically saying, why is there 30% there? So, listen, I understand that moving forward, 30% looks like a huge amount. And I will always hear recommendations from the CAC through Brenda that you recommend to the board, like, hey, let's look at only 15% of our budget that goes to affordable housing. You have that wiggle room to do so. I just ask now, I feel like now that we are getting more applications for rehab, and I'll update the report to show that. And we're going to start this domain that's going to bring in a down payment. We're having outreach efforts to the different housing counseling agencies. I am gonna always reference that it was just me for a while, but it was, but I still do have other two people now that we're moving this forward. That you all just allow at least one funding cycle to go through for the unit creation and conversion. So I didn't get to explain what that means about the funding cycle, but I'm hoping that in that unit creation line item that you all have, that we can release all that money come beginning FY 27, and we write it out as a request for applications to the developer community, put all these speculations about West Tampa overlay and everything out there, and see what they pitch to us. After we see what comes in, then we can determine wiggling that. I'm just trying to explain.
Money from the
I understand, yes, but I'm.
especially if we're gonna capture people at 30%, and
The rentals, yeah, they're not looking about.
It's gotta be room.
But for the rental, we have 30%.
Less than 50%.
For the rental rehab does exist, you could be 30% AMI and participate in rehab. It's purchasing a home that you have to.
What I'm saying is the city is pushing too much single family, all this down payment nonsense. And we got structures around here that can be rehabilitated and brought back and saved because we're in a national historic district from being demolished. Like the tree house was knocked down on screws. This house could have been rehabbed back and brought up to some reasonable standards. And it would cost you less because you don't have to worry about the setbacks. They've been replaced. In this housing authority is doing it right now. Taking two old raggedy casitas on Scott Street and gonna restore. Right, Mr. Long? Okay, so what I'm saying is you know, we committee members, when we look at the budget,
Are we
which
ready?
we don't have to approve anything on this budget tonight, do we?
Well,
No.
yes, yes and no. We want to go through it. We want y'all to become,
Let me ask you this, okay, because here's what I'm
We-
saying, but
are we gonna end this presentation? We're done with B?
we're done with that.
Okay, all right, so let me stop this and we'll move into the next item.
We got some strong
All
statements
right.
about Ivan. $38 million.
Ah.
38, turn the lights back on so we can
Oh.
see.
Yeah,
We
just a
done with
moment.
that.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
$38 million. So the budget for fiscal year 26 revised was $38 million.
Okay, one thing I just want to bring to your attention, Michael Randolph did join us. So you mentioned, asked for him. And now, okay,
But I want to.
So-
About this, put on the budget.
these,
shot now.
right, all right, we'll move to, thank you. Okay.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, before I jump off into this, I'm looking at the second page of this,
Yes,
and it says 38 million plus for fiscal year 26 revised budget. Tell me what that is.
yes, does this work? Oh, thank you, Chair Robinson. So yes, we're moving into the budget, and what you see in column 1 under FY revised budget is all the money that you have been rolling over, and that totals up to $38 million. Now, it doesn't account for some things that haven't been expended out. So as you're looking, because there's a timeline, when you look under the projects, when we get into, do you want to just run through the budget and I can kind of explain it as we go through?
Normally, you don't roll over something that has a line of commitment.
In this budget, you have 2 columns, a budget line item, and you have funds available, okay? The funds available are 34 million. The funds that are in the revised budget are 38 million. Came right from our accounting department. This is what we have in our pot, and this is how it's been obligated.
Well, I'm trying to understand, 38 million is what we have in the fiscal year 26 revised budget. And you
Right.
said it include growth. So my question is, how much of that 38 million hasn't been encumbered? And we can't change the line item designation on it to go anywhere?
Well, if we go through it, I'll explain them all.
Hmm?
We can go through them. There's quite a bit when you get into the infrastructure.
There should be a number to tell me of the total budget of 38 million in 2026. How much, so you're telling me we have 34 million available to do if we want? It hasn't been like, we put money in housing.
Correct.
You put money on, doing commercial tier grants. So how much of that's encumbered or that we can't touch?
So as we go through and you see the line items, there's money, even though it says like, oh, I kind of wish we could go through it and then ask questions at the end that we could go through and I can tell you like, these are already obligated.
Question.
This is what our accounting department give you. I can give you.
Give us everything. Remember, this report is a synopsis of a whole bunch of columns that they cut off and only give us this. Now, I ain't stupid. We don't went through this the last couple times, Vice Chair, about when we found out there's some other columns that we could look at that we ain't looking at right now. And they just give us what they think that we're gonna just look. Because, for example, tax increment financing, 9.5 million. That says funds available negative 982. I don't understand that. Is that 985, 9.5 that they expect us to get 10 million this year? I guess that's what the 27 budget forecast thinks.
The budget.
We're gonna get 10 million from.
So it's estimated. What they do is they estimate 5% from last year. These are not the final numbers. They just don't come in till the end. So 10 million.
I understand. I'm trying to get understanding.
Okay,
That's what's expected for us to get for the taxes.
Correct.
For the salary.
New money.
To add to the 38 million.
Correct.
That's sitting there right now. So now we got 48 million. Now, what I'm getting back to is how much of the 38 million is encumbered that cannot be moved from the line item it's on. And we go through these individual amounts, they're gonna add up to 38.766 million. Right, we go from a Roman number 1 all the way to 10, and they're gonna add up to 38. I'm not asking them how much these numbers in the fiscal year 26 revised budget that we have to stay with. Or can we say, we don't want to do that? Like we got the Walter Smith Library, okay? I see 1.192. Actually, it's on the line from Freedom Park. I don't know what the jumping around is. See that?
So that's
You see that?
yes,
Jump
and I,
down, is that Freedom Park and
so what
is that Walter Smith Library?
it is, we approved that project's got,
No, listen, man, look at the line item, there's a blank space for Walter Smith, but the 1.192 lines up with the Freedom Park. On my piece of paper.
no, the first one, okay, we're kind of jumping around. We can do it this way, however y'all want to do it. But if you want to just get into infrastructure, you want to go through that portion right now?
No, I'm just asking the observation.
So
I just picked up the paper and looked at them.
Walter Smith is $1 million, okay. Walter Smith was approved at $1,192,000, right? This year, we're going to fund that project by reappropriating $1 million of your money that's coming down from neighborhood infrastructure. That's why it's highlighted. Neighborhood, we're taking $1 million out of neighborhood infrastructure. That's why the column to the right, it's got a negative number, negative 1 million, because 1 million is going up to Walter Smith.
Okay, stop right there.
It's a reappropriation.
So we're reprogramming from the fiscal year 26 budget to the 27 budget.
Correct.
All right, start in the beginning.
Okay, all right, so let's run through it. I'm sorry about the confusion.
No, I'm just looking at the chart and just looking, but it still doesn't answer my question. Yes, Ms. Smith.
Well, no, I think, because the confusion, I think, is because where Freedom Park improvements under FY 26 revised budget column says $1,192,000. So
That's what I just said.
that's what I'm saying. I think that's where the confusion.
Oh, I see. It's the same number,
Yeah,
ironically.
It's
It is the same number. That's interesting.
Okay.
So we've added to it.
That's odd.
That is very, that's,
I think
yeah, interesting. Okay, now I get y'all. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So again, today, the exercise today is to look at the FY 27 forecast, what we think we're going to get in money, because it's not an exact number, but it's close. And what buckets we're going to put that money into, okay? How we're looking at our budget, what we've had before, and what we have moving forward. So we're looking at a $10 million income revenues coming in from the property appraiser's office. Out of that money, there is operations and administration. I can't do anything about this number. It's about 7%. Each CRA gets cost share. It pays for salaries. It pays for the attorney. It pays for all the all the different services that we get from the operations standpoint. So that's set. When it gets into professional services, I looked at what we already have in the pot. And these are professional services. This would be like we hire a consultant. We did the West Tampa alley study out of that line item. We would study, if we wanted to study something, a traffic study, anything like that. That's where it comes out of that general pot of professional services. So there's $256,000 there. I don't recommend putting any more money. I think we're fine.
Okay, so that 256 hasn't been encumbered.
That has not been encumbered.
So
No.
you're gonna.
It's available.
So that's why it's
Yes, ma'am.
available. And then, but you're saying we don't need to add anything from the new money to it.
Well, looking at what y'all voted on in terms of motions, there's nothing out there right now for professional services. Okay, but we have $256,000. And know that normally when we go enter into a contract, under contract admin with like an engineer, it's usually always under about $200,000. They stay under that threshold. So we have money to do a study. If you need more money, we'll reappropriate. Exactly.
Got it. I got it.
That is just for doing studies because historic preservation is a professional service.
And it was paid out of there. Yes.
Okay, I got it.
Tree trimming and, I mean, those are.
Those are different. There's a little bit different tree trimming. We'll get to
Now, let
this.
me ask this before we go through. So you're looking for us to make a motion tonight to approve this
to look at where the money is in the pots and if you're comfortable with it, with changes, if y'all want to make any kind of edits. Yes, we really do, because it's on a, we have to get it to our budget department.
Think with the fact that we're gonna have to make a motion where we move money this night on this tonight, and then what happens? We don't get another bite of this apple, or this is
No,
it?
you're gonna get more bites of this apple, absolutely. Number one, we're really only concerned about the green column, okay? Throughout the year, things happen. You want to do projects, you want to move money, we can reprogram. If anything gets reprogrammed, I come to y'all first. I let you know that's happening. I get a motion for it, and then I take it to CRA board. So there's two opportunities throughout the year to set projects or do budgets. This is one, okay, where we set things up and we have money in pots. The second thing is through reappropriations or reprogram, what we call it. Okay, so moving right along, fencing, wrapping, and windscreens, banners. This is a line item that's been there for a while. We have been using it. This is when we secure a piece of property, we buy something, we put a fence around it. This is the money, this is the pot it comes out of.
And that's where we pay the people for the fence to lay on the ground all the time.
Well, that's when we call them to fix it and we take it more out of this line item. But yes, it's those contractors, Mr. Fence Guy, I forget the name of that company, but yes, he is the fence guy, but and if we do banners, we're also trying to brand it just so that, or put any kind of information up there.
This way too, before you run, is we okay with, I'm gonna do it this way, so I have to come back.
Yeah.
Are we okay with operations, we can't remember, are we okay with professional services? We got a consensus on that? Okay, I see head shaking. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so we're no extra money there. Okay, outreach and community engagement. You heard from B earlier. I wanted to put a little money, keep putting a little money in this line item. We talked about last month, y'all talked about maybe doing a video. We talked about having more communications, getting maybe mailers out, anything along those lines. I like to have at least $100,000 there just so we can work with it. It's also for the communications RFP that's been kind of hanging out there that still needs to get done for Tampa CRA. We would be participating in that with all the other CRAs. So that's what 60,000 is, and go ahead.
So there's another car. And that's where we're gonna take 60 that's there, add another 40 from the new, and now the final card will show $100,000 for the budget for 2027.
Correct.
No, it's not. There'll be 100,000 funds, but we're only using 40,000 extra on the 22nd.
Correct. We're only adding 40,000. Correct.
The total.
But the total will be 100. Absolutely.
60.
Right.
So we'll have 100 there that we'll have for communications.
Right. And I think we could use that here, especially with trying to get the word out, like Ms. Fenton was mentioning earlier. Okay, so moving right along, promotional activities. This is sort of a catch-all. This could be outreach activities that we do. This could be buying things to help disseminate information. This is our annual report. This could be the newsletter. This could be anything that's more along a promotional activity. It's kind of a broad category, but it is a different account number. So we already have $312,000 there. I'm not asking to reprogram today. We may reprogram if we need it, but right now let's keep it there and let's see if we can do some things with it this next year. So there's no additional money on that line item. Any questions about outreach and community engagement? Okay. Moving right along.
We got consensus on that.
Okay. Okay. All right. This is a fun one. This is redevelopment investment. These are the commercial grants. Now, we have 4 categories for commercial grants. We have pre-development grant, commercial exterior grant, commercial interior grant, and special projects grants. And what I'm suggesting here, you see kind of some odd numbers on the side, what I talked to Ms. Dee Reed about and moving forward, and we are making headway on the commercial grants. Y'all get reports on those. There are people participating in those, and I think we're going to see more, which is great. But what I wanted to do with her is make these grants whole, meaning that on pre-development grants, they're the maximum you can apply for is $150,000. Therefore, I recommended adding another $58,484 so that we could have 4 whole grants. How do y'all feel about 4 grants that we would try to go forward with? Okay. For 2027. So, and this is a whole year that we would be working. This is a pre-development grant. This is almost approved by CRA board. You've got some information in front of you on a workshop that's coming up.
So total available of over 600,000.
Correct. They add up. If you add it up, it's 150,000 for applications. I'm sorry. Yes, 4 applicants. Okay, the next line item, commercial exterior grants. This is by far the most popular category. This is the old facade grant. This is improving your exterior. Added another 200,000 there so that we could come to a total of 10 applicants, 10 grants. Those are $75,000 each. That we have maxed out. And so I know there's some already in the hopper right now that she's working with. So I thought $200,000 would be a good round number to get 10 exterior grants going this next year. How do y'all feel about that? Okay. All right, moving along, commercial interior grants. Now, this category is not that it's not popular, but it's a little more restrictive. This is where you cannot buy HVAC systems and that, but this is more to bring a building up to code. So there's certain requirement that you can apply for, but it's not, you can't put in like, fancy equipment and things like that. It's more for code compliance type of improvements. So it's electrical, it's all that stuff. So with 275 already in the pot, I added $100,000, which would give us a total of 5 applicants. And I thought that was half of, that's about what Ms. Reed thought was a good number too. It would be 75,000 again per applicant, and we could try to reach 5 applicants. How do y'all feel about that one? Good? Okay, the last grant is special projects grant. Now, with the new changes to special projects, the team that Dee's going to have with the commercial grants, they can fund up to $1 million for someone. Okay, but before it was like around 500,000. So it's up to. So y'all know we just did a Walter. No, this would not be Walter Smith. This would be someone smaller, someone that's I think Weinstring tried for a grant like this, or Likey Tire. If it's a special project grant, it's not fitting into the commercial and interior. It could be a nonprofit applying for something, a cultural facility. So you already had $1 million in there. I just thought, let's just leave it there and not really add any extra money. Let's see what comes in over the next year. How do y'all feel about that? Yes, ma'am.
So West Tampa, West Riverwalk.
Yes. It's here.
Where is?
Oh, I'm not there yet.
Oh,
yes, it's there.
Okay.
I promise we're gonna get there. Okay. Yeah, I will show you. Right. Well, we'll get there. We have a whole line item for that one. So let's just get through number 4, redevelopment investment. Those are commercial grants. Are y'all comfortable with those level of funding? Okay, very good. Okay, so let's move along. I know we spent a lot of time on housing. Just so y'all know, just to remind everybody, this was not something y'all asked for. A CRA board, they made a mandate to put the 30% aside. So until they change that, we still have to plan for the 30%. Now, within these categories, I did talk to B, where could you think that you could make the most impact? And she thought, let's just put everything into unit creation. That can move around unless y'all can make another recommendation on it. We have healthy levels in all of these categories.
I'm gonna say this, okay? I'm sick and tired of getting back to unit creation, but when I get at that,
Okay.
means development. Why don't we put $1 million in rental rehab?
Okay, let's add more to rental rehab.
They ain't got a program, but we put money there for them to make a program for it. See, this is what I'm saying.
Okay, no, this is what I need.
This unit creation, the developer, Mr. Alonia was correct. He says, what is domain getting?
Warm glove.
The answer is a profit. And a buyer. Why? Because we help give them the money to buy. What are we getting? One person, one family, and a home. Yes. But they get the profit.
Wasn't here for that vote.
Well,
You
you guys did make the recommendation.
Going forward, just let's think about that.
Think about it.
Let's just think about that. Okay? Let's just think about that profiteering stuff.
I mean, who voted for it?
I voted for it. because this was presented.
Well, you could call it a pilot program, okay? You don't have to keep doing it.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna put something wrong with that. Go ahead. Ms.
I just want to clarify something, because my recollection was that program was unanimously, I believe it was unanimous.
It was very well
And
supported.
it was with the understanding, in other words, Domain didn't need us. They could sell the house and make a profit and go on their merry way. The city said, hey, they're not gonna lower their price and take a loss. So the city said, hey, we'll subsidize it and you can sell it to an affordable buyer.
Right.
Which sounds good to me.
It works.
So, it just sounds like the accusation of there's something nefarious. It's not. That wasn't, and by the way, everybody makes a profit. If you sell your house, you make a profit. Nothing wrong with that. You should make a profit.
Yeah, but remember at that time, Domain, what they're selling the house now wasn't what it was intended to be sold at the time. I remember the Intel lot.
No, but for this particular thing, it was simply, well, we can sell it there. There's no lack of demand for expensive houses in West Tampa. They can sell them all day long.
Yeah,
So we weren't doing anything to help them. They were gonna sell it whether we were there or not. We bought it down, so it went to an affordable buyer. I don't see anything wrong with that.
The problem is that the cost of housing today, 80 to 120 is gonna find a difficulty for us.
Agreed.
So.
Agreed.
And here's the debate on that. I'm saying we need to deal with the 30 to 50 crew. You guys are the only people doing anything for the 30 to 50 AMI.
Yeah, for rent.
And by us being on a slum and blighted area, it looks real, what I call these people elitist. Elitist. They start talking about 80 to 120 and anything else. Those are elitists. Okay? Compared to the 30 and the 50 people right now. That's pretty low. That's what I'm saying. We're in a slum and blighted area. Okay? We're a slum and blighted area. We just got rid of some random projects and put some affordable housing. So I'm just saying.
But the other thing though, we provide rental. When you do
What did you say we do? What?
Yeah,
we didn't get that in the housing department.
Yeah, for those. So, but when you do that though, you have to provide accommodation for support, education. They need to get a job. So how do you train them? How do you provide the services? You can't just give them a house.
What you do is you say, hey, look, we're gonna give you some money to fix up a house to rent it to a Section 8 person, and you have to rent to a Section 8 person forever. In the agreement to get the money to fix the house up.
Yeah.
And I know I would agree to that. I will agree to that. And how big a backlog you got at the housing authority, the Section 8 vouchers you can't even place because people don't want to be bothered with it. Huh?
You're right.
Let's move on.
So back to the budget. I saw a suggestion by Chair Robinson to move $1 million out of the unit creation and put it towards housing rehab and renovation. Is that correct?
No, I
No?
said rural rehab.
That's not a category, but we
I ain't
could.
talking about no owner occupied. I said rural rehab.
Well, I need to put it into one of these categories for now. Tell me which one would you like? You got housing, rehab and renovation. You've got
Okay,
housing
yes,
down
yes,
payment.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
so we'll put it to number one. So if I subtract $1 million, it leaves $2 million in the unit creation and conversion category. And again, these numbers can move.
These are the only affordable housing programs, initiatives that the CRA has right now, correct?
Correct.
Right?
Mhm.
Okay.
This is what we
I'm
have.
saying is that I'm pushing to have another housing initiative called rural rehab, non-owner occupied.
Okay, so are we still moving $1 million to the first category for
Yeah,
now?
we'll move it there.
Okay, we'll move it for now, because you mentioned it had 3 prongs, which included your rental. Okay, so I think, just to make this clear, do y'all want to make a motion at the very end after we make the changes, or do you want to
Yeah,
make
that's why
some?
I'm getting some
Okay,
senses as we
so
go,
if y'all
so.
are comfortable with that, okay, so we have,
Mrs. Fenton, did I see you,
Yes. Why don't we add a little bit more to all the categories? In other words, rather than having zeros and everything in unit creation.
well, listen, let me tell you why I want to keep, I was looking at doing it that way. Okay,
Mhm.
because of this chart that I keep showing you. Why am I gonna reward people when it's zero?
Well, there's zeros, but there's zeros on rental rehab too.
No,
There's
there is
zeros on
no
all
real
of them.
rehab program,
Well-
the way I'm talking about,
Yeah.
okay? So I'm trying to create another initiative.
Oh, you want to add a line item in here?
Yes.
Well, I need to stick with these categories now because this is what CRA board has, but there
Who
is a,
said we can't?
Wait a minute, I'm just gonna ask a question. How are we gonna add money to a line item for a program that doesn't exist?
Because we want a program created, because it's in our CRP plan that we can have room. We have it.
Is that,
from what I understand, under the housing rehab and renovation, there is a rental program under that. She'd already talked about that. There's
Like
tenant,
this.
is that correct?
They come in here buying, and they want $3 million for unit creation. That's all we heard tonight. And I
That was what,
That's up, the
that-
first thing off the bat.
it can be anything y'all want. If you want to put a little bit towards
But this
each one.
budget reflects $3 million of additional of money, additional money of the 10 we're getting, 1/3 of it is gonna go to unit creation.
Again, we
Who
have
made
help.
that call? We didn't make that call.
It was just a proposal when I had met with B originally. It doesn't have to be that way. We have healthy balances in all these categories.
and the other thing is, as you all know, this is just a placeholder. We reprogram as
Exactly.
we want. If and when, and I hope we do, get the rental rehab program, somebody comes, they present a program, we like it. We say, we want to add $1 million to it and we want to rejigger our.
Correct.
funds. That's all. I just don't think it's wise to, and I'm not sure that that's allowed, but to allocate money to a program that doesn't exist.
Exactly. If we have a category, there's one category in your budget here that you put money when you don't have a plan for it. Okay?
So, infrastructure.
Yeah, so we,
We got plenty of money. If we get a rental
Right.
rehab program, we reprogram and put
Yes.
as much money in
But
there as we want.
this 30% needs to stay in these.
My understanding in this meeting was, we have an owner occupied and we have a tenant occupied. But they're working on a vacant home.
Correct.
So we do have money where it fits under the HRRP. So if we move the million to the HRRP, we are in effect moving it to the existing.
I agree with that.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, because I keep hearing that one doesn't exist, but I guess we're only referring to that one vacant home.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I agree that put $1 million up there instead of putting
Okay.
$3 down here, so we send a message that this unit creation is not the solution to everything.
That's why I'm saying, put a little bit of.
All right, so,
Yeah.
so we wanna take $1 million after three, put it up in, housing rehab and renovation program?
All right,
Everybody
I've got that.
Everybody got consensus on that one?
Yes.
All right, let's move on.
Okay. All right. So housing, we've got that. Now let's go into infrastructure. This is where a lot of stuff is happening. Okay. So number one, the commercial development grant program. This is a new category. And this is where someone like Walter Smith got a grant. If it's over $1 million, this is what this category would be. So I thought to support the effort, because I think we probably are going to get an application or two in on this. We should allocate $1 million there so we can have one whole project.
Stop.
Yes, sir.
You said this program don't exist yet.
This it does. This is the one that CRA board is
The board
approving.
adopted this.
Yes, this is the one, this is the commercial development program that I gave y'all information on. There's a meeting tomorrow night
Yeah.
to get this moving, but it's going to be blessed this fiscal year.
This is what it says, okay?
Yes, sir.
This is what I'm getting at, this slick wind at the city. When I read this, okay, when I read this,
Mhm.
I believe it said that this was gonna be at the tomorrow night at 5:30. And this here will then go to the board for approval. It didn't say that this here process has been approved by the board. The city said the board will use the process, that process. I thought that when I read this, it said that they hadn't approved it yet. And it was gonna go to be approved after they have this community engagement.
to learn about the new draft commercials or special projects. So that means it's been done.
Yeah, they're moving forward with the policy. That's what you have, which is in strike through and underline of how they're going to make some edits. But with the spirit, this is going to be a new program. It's on track to be blessed this year. And so that's why the $1 million was put there to try to see if we could participate in it. Okay, so number 2, Walter Smith. Okay, you know that Walter Smith was approved. Now it's about the money. Because we have some healthy balances in the fiscal year 26, I thought we would move $1 million from neighborhood infrastructure improvements. These are the shaded areas. They're kind of in a grayish color. We take $1 million from there, which means I take $1 million out and we put that towards Walter Smith. And then for FY 27, we would put an additional $192,000 in there to make that project whole. And that would actually be, that's considered now a commercial development grant. Okay.
Wait, let me back up,
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Tina. You see down here where it says your input will be shared with the board during staff's presentation for approval. So they're gonna approve.
But if you read that.
No, that's what they're talking about, what they're gonna be getting from the public. This is saying, this will be shared with the board during staff's presentation for approval. Staff will take our comment from this meeting tomorrow night and go to the board to approve this policy that ain't been approved yet. That's why I interpret it.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
The policy has not been approved yet.
Let's see, you just sat there and said it was a policy.
But that's why you have the strike. It's actually been amended.
But that's the way I read it, because I read that line at the bottom. But I was just told that it was already in place. There's already a policy. That's why they give you this copy in the back that grants and funding policy that ain't been approved yet. Because it's got red lines in it from the original thing that they did. Okay, they got additions and subtractions from the original grant funding policy. You see what I'm saying? It ain't been approved by the board yet, but let's move on.
Okay. Well, that's what, if this changes, if anything happens and there's, they decide not to do it, we will reappropriate that money. Yeah. So here, moving right along, now we're in Freedom Park. Now, Freedom Park, we've already.
What I'm saying is, you're putting $1 million in something that don't exist. When I said we want to run red, that don't exist, but now you want to put $1 million in something new ain't been approved yet by the board. Let's move on. You understand what I'm saying? Okay.
Correct.
It's something that is.
It's in motion.
Doesn't matter. Just because she said that there's a real rehab in the pipeline. Same thing.
Well.
They just don't have it codified yet.
This is a lot more.
It's a little farther along, and again, like Jeanette said, this is a placeholder. We're participating in it. Okay, so going to Freedom Park, 2101 Main Street. This is the park on Albany, Maine. We already have a healthy budget, a healthy amount in that. And when I met with Ms. Martinez, she says, Brenda, we need about 300,000 more because this project you're going to be getting next month. Next month is going to be lots of fun, so make sure you all show up. More fun than tonight, I promise. 300, we're having the projects update, so we're going to have some concepts coming forward. Yes. So she asked for $300,000 more to make that project a little more whole. Are y'all okay with that? Yes. Okay. Fremont Avenue Grid Reestablishment. Remember this project? Well, they have selected last month, they selected Osprey, which is a company that will be doing the design for the reopening of the 4 streets along Fremont Avenue there. And so I think the contract was for about $300,000. We had already put in there $1,200,000 because of estimates that were given to us early on in the project. So I'm not adding any more money there because we have enough right now. Fremont Linear Park improvements. Now, in the middle of all this, we have a lovely little park down there. We haven't done much with it because we're waiting to do the grid reestablishment, but there is some need, and we'd like to maybe work on that this year as a project, get someone on board to do some improvements within that park. And y'all know where that one is, right? Along Fremont. Okay. Land assemblage, okay, $2.6 million. Y'all know the CRA board gave us directive and y'all have given us some motions to go buy land. And that would be the line item that would be taken out, general land purchases. That is one of the inherent rights of a CRA is to buy land, sell land, dispose of land, all of that. And why we do it? Because we remedy slum and blight. Okay. Moving along, we have this kind of category out here for professional services or land assemblage, but honestly, that's really the same number. It's the same account number as what's above. So that number really can be added to the above number. It's just on a separate line. Martin Luther King Center and property improvements. So Chair Robinson and I did talk about this. Oh, and I missed Main, oh my gosh, the most important one. I am so, gosh, my eyes are getting bad here, I'm sorry. Main Street, okay, y'all know this is priority project. We have $2.3 million in the account. We have $1 million that I thought we could put towards it. Good news, next month, don't miss it. We're going to have the scope of service presented to y'all so you can see what mobility has come up with, so get your input on it. Because we really want to talk about Main Street. That is our main corridor, and we want to get everyone's input before it goes out on the street for an RFQ. Okay, moving right along, Martin Luther King Center and property improvements. We have $200,000 in this line item. I know it's been there for a while. Y'all know that Rome Yard is actively under construction, and there's obviously the contractor in there. They've been utilizing the space. If y'all have nothing going on Thursday night, there's a meeting in the building for Rome Yard. It's in the back of your packet right here, community meeting, Martin Luther King. It's a beautiful building. I think it deserves to have some, I think y'all put it in here because you want to put some renovations into it, maybe making the acoustics better. But that's on the horizon, but nothing has been done on that yet. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Yes, ma'am.
Has Related made any commitment to helping to improve that building?
Not that I know of, but they're utilizing space. And I think there was some conversation about the community garden. And I don't know if it was the West Riverwalk contractor that made some commitments to, because I guess there's been some disruption of that garden as part of the process.
Yeah, that part of the they got to paint.
They got a what? I'm sorry.
Paint it.
They got to paint it. So nothing interior.
That's all?
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna be.
We got.
So we have.
I guess you're kicking a little bit more.
Yes,
than
ma'am.
eight.
Who set the budget for this?
The 200,000? You guys did way before my time. It's been there for a couple of years and I don't touch it because I know you want to do something with it, right?
It's our line item, so of course, but sure would be nice if somebody from the city would, even though we have a community benefits agreement, might ask them to kick in some.
Well, I don't think the city's gonna do anything for parks. We got two right here that we're gonna put 3.9 and 1.4 and wait on the city to do
So I'm
something.
talking about related, I'm saying.
Well, no, I'm talking about the city. And we pay taxes to the city.
But that's irrelevant. I mean, this is.
We'll get to that park, I think, once that construction settles down.
Bring this up at the.
No, what I'm saying,
Yes,
But
We're talking about Martin Luther King Center right now.
yes.
Martin
So,
Luther King.
you know, if anybody want to put more money into that part,
I
all right, you want to push, what you got a recommendation?
Yes, I want to recommendation to increase funding for Martin Luther King Center.
Okay, how much?
Yes, well, it can be up until about, $1 million. Well, two million, how about that?
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I have a recommend.
Can we extend it? We limit to just structure.
You can make the motion that we put some money in before the city do anything, they're gonna come to us with some plans or with some ideas.
You know, what would get this ball rolling on this project if we consider getting a consultant on board to see what you want to do with the building. And what I'm suggesting is that you already have 1.9 million sitting there in neighborhood infrastructure below it that you could reprogram, but you need to have something to reprogram it to. You see what I mean?
We need
Could
to
I
have
just say-
Parks and Rec.
We need Parks and Rec, and they're going to be here next month too. Yes.
Could we use that building for our meetings? And create a, like a reasonable kind of
Yes, I would love that.
Baby thing that's always set up and that we can use and we can make available to other people in the community if they need
Well,
it.
look, this is why, here's the way I look at it, all right? This is the way I look at it. We put 2.6 million, 2.377 million for Main Street revitalization, and we ain't seen that. But they supposedly gonna come in. So we put money in stuff before we know exactly what is gonna be the end product. So we wanna put $1 million, 2 million, or whatever, in Martin Luther King Center we can, and then eventually they'll come to us and we'll tell them that's where, we got some money to start with. It's just like Main Street revitalization. Right? And let them know how much we're doing. And we've done every part to date. We done South Seniors, we done Ray Park, and Martin Luther King Center is neglected. If we put some money, I guarantee somebody's gonna start figuring out how to get it fixed and fixed up. And now is the time, because we might be able to get related to do something, because we're showing the serious effort. They're over there doing, I don't know if you've been over there, but they're redoing the street in front of it. Matter of fact, they're meeting over there this Thursday. We're related. And it'd be nice if we say, hey, look, we're gonna put some money, because maybe y'all might wanna, look at helping us get to the next level. So what's your
I don't want
recommendation?
to put too much into that, to kick in, that's what I'm saying.
So,
Yeah, I know, but the city needs to kick in.
so you guys, the green column does balance. So if we want to put money there, we need to take it from some other place on the green. Yeah, the green column. So if you want to reduce Main Street by 500, do 500.
No, the neighborhood infrastructure improvements.
So
has
what
always
is
been-
that? even?
That is a reprogram. That's different. If I'm reprogramming, I have to have something to reprogram to. I have to have a contract.
That's the whole neighborhood
Pardon me?
infrastructure is the
We're
whole.
reprogramming to the Martin Luther King Center.
But when you reprogram, you have to show backup of what your cost estimate is. You have to have something more tangible. So that's what I'm saying. Usually you reprogram when you're ready to go. It's like, okay, guys, I need more money. We've got a contract here and we're ready to go. In the budget forecast is where you're just putting, now we could do two things. We have money there, so we could leave Main Street alone and reprogram that later and then put more money right now into Martin Luther
Just
King.
take it out of neighborhood infrastructure, that, like I said, that's always been the holding pen.
Exactly.
Where,
I can't do that. I have to, okay, this is, I'm sorry. I know it's hard to exert. The green column I have to focus on. I have to only focus on the 10 million that we're getting in new money. We reprogram when I have a contract in play, when I have something, you have to go to city council with it. You have to show a backup.
Yeah.
You see it, I need something more tangible.
Okay.
I cannot do that. I can't move the 30% out of any category under housing because the CRA board has made that determination.
$100 million out of one line to another under affordable housing.
That's because this is a reprogram I'm showing. It's already approved. I have Dr. Martin Luther. Okay. I know, I'm sorry. So in other words, y'all motioned, it went to the board. Walter Smith Library needs money right now and he's got actual grant to be funded. So that's why I can do the reprogram right now.
So with that $1 million we're taking out, neighborhood infrastructure improvement going.
It's going to Dr. Walter Smith's grant award this year.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Why can't, if you took it out of there for that, why can't we take it out of neighborhood infrastructure?
Because there's no proposal.
But there's no proposal for Martin Luther King. That's what I'm missing. Thank you. I need to have something tangible to take to CRA board because
So how do we get 200,000?
So then just leave the money. We can always reprogram Martin Luther King.
you can. You absolutely can.
Let me start about doing stuff later on here.
Right.
It don't happen. And it gets difficult. Now is the time to make the statement.
But you can't assign it to something that doesn't exist.
Well, that's what she said.
Well-
How did you get 200,000 in the first place?
If you want to show, it as a priority, my recommendation would be in the green category, okay? Because that's our kind of, this is what we really kind of want to focus on this year. I thought it was going to be
Okay, I
100%.
know where we can get it from. I know
Okay.
where we can get it from.
Okay.
Let's take it out in parks improvements.
Parks improvements.
Where is-
Oh, yeah.
Okay, again, that's a reappropriation. Oh, no, we can.
What improvements are specifically for?
You know what? Let me talk to our budget analyst and maybe use, okay.
Saying some parks improvements and specifically saying we want it for Martin Luther King.
Okay, let me see if I can earmark that one. That may work, okay?
Parks improvement.
I don't-
That's a park.
I don't understand why we can do it from there and not that doesn't.
Well, it's a light.
It would be, that, in that case, it would be combining categories because it's already a park improvement. I'll have to check with her on that. I don't know what that's earmarked for, so that's a good point. I will clarify that one.
So why don't we earmark that $500,000 for Martin Luther King and just get rid of that parks improvement, because we got a lot of money we don't spend on parks.
Okay, I will go back to the budget analyst and see what we can do on that one. I agree.
We got a Ray Park down here 3-4 times.
Now, I know that was punched out and just so y'all know, there's some negatives there. It's just because they have to clean up where it's coming from. That money was allocated 3.9 million. It didn't go a penny over. Everything is already, we've spent as much as we can on that. But I don't want to miss any here. Let's see, neighborhood infrastructure improvements, you know about that one. Okay, parks ADA improvements, that came from the CRA board. All parks are getting improved with ADA accessible and inclusive equipment. That came from Louis Vieira. So that's already set there. And that money is going to be used in our parks. Park improvements, I got the message on that one about combining that one up with Martin Luther King. So I'll look to do that. Public art, non-capital, it's $23,000. I'm not recommending any additional money there. Matter of fact, going down the list here, there's no real additional money being asked anywhere. There's 2 public art categories. One was non-capital. That was really for when we did the wraps around the utility boxes and those kind of things. So that's what that money was coming from, those types of public art. Public art, just so you know, we really need to attach it to a capital project. That's it's kind of it's something that's very silent in the statute. So our attorney has told us that's really what we need to do. Ray Park, if you combine all these together, $3.9 million, not recommending any more, we can't, because we're tapped out on that park. However, you did ask and you approved, okay, Ray Park streetscape. This is what goes around the park, the sidewalks, the lighting. So there's $1 million that's been approved. You see it, how it's highlighted. It's going to be a reappropriation. That money is coming out of the next page under district improvements. Okay, that's where you typically take out landscaping money, that kind of thing. So you'll see a negative $1 million there and $1 million into creating a new line item called public realm. I just call it the public realm project. And that will be approved on May 12th at CRA board. Moving right along, South Salinas Park, $17,000. That is 1% of the budget. And that's coming out from, that was to really improve the mural. Y'all know the ribbon cutting is next week on the 28th, and Judge Salcinas is taken care of, Ms. Fenton. And so that will be celebrating the completion of that project. It did have a public art component, which was really sprucing up the mural that's there. And then, of course, the design of the park, it's all kind of lined in there, but Salcinas is complete. So we'll be able to take that one off our list once we're done. And then moving right along, we have something called street, alleyway, and sidewalk improvements. This is a general category that we have here. I'm not recommending any additional money. There's plenty of money in that line item. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You recall that we passed a motion about implementing the top priority parking projects from the parking stick.
Correct.
This needs to be reflected. There's no line item for parking improvements in the budget. So.
Well, where would you take it from? Because there's a lot of different scenarios, like the parking garage, which would be built on land.
Well, what I'm thinking is if we where we say street, alley, sidewalk, maybe we add the word and parking.
Okay, I can do that.
Then
yeah.
Once that is solidified, then we can do the reprogramming. I'm worried about not
Not having it captured somewhere, okay,
And.
all right, I'll talk to our budget analyst.
That's
So
what we
here we go, adding a section that was not.
I'm not adding, I am actually
You
changing,
just said we couldn't be modified none of these items, we just added parking. I agree with you, Jeanette.
I will check.
100%. But here we are adding parking improvements.
But
to align it.
It all,
that is already in writing, projects from a document that we've said are a priority. We're not adding
That was
something
the one
new.
for. That.
Yeah, so.
well, just so you know, like the parking study, and I was thinking about all the conversations y'all have had about this. We refer to that for every project we do. So when we do Main Street, for instance, parking is going to be part, so, well, it's already part of it because we did the on-street parking. When you mentioned finding land for a parking garage, that necessarily wouldn't be taken out of this line item. That may be land acquisition. So we'd have to, you see, doing that. So I think we can address parking from several items here. But if I will check with our budget analyst first to make sure we can add the word parking in there, but because it's a public realm improvement, it's probably okay. Yes, ma'am.
Question about, the the sidewalk improvements on Rome, wasn't there? Are we supposed to be improving the sidewalks and planting stuff on Rome? We did that.
That's part of the multimodal project.
Is that the multimodal network?
Yeah, so well, the multimodal project that we're going to talk about is the Riverwalk. Okay.
Okay, but-
Now, what you're talking about may be something different. Was that part of the Tampa Moves plan where they did sidewalk?
Rome Street's gonna be all the way down to Kennedy. Improved.
Well, the section from Kennedy to Cass is already completed, so it's south of
Right.
Kennedy and north of Cass.
Right.
That's
Correct.
part of the West River.
And then all the way to
Okay.
Long Yard.
So
they
that's
got a
part
new
of.
road.
Part of West
Part of the
Yeah,
West.
just Long-
Riverwalk. It's called the West River Bill.
Drive all
Yeah.
the way down
To Cass.
to Cass.
I just wanted to-
Thank you.
This is the long-
Carlos, because you've been on that committee, you know exactly. Yes, so, well, first of all, as we end infrastructure category number 6, are y'all okay with those allocations?
Which one?
It's number 6, infrastructure and capital projects. I just whipped through all of them. Are we good? Okay, we can always reprogram money. It's not the end. Okay, so moving into number 7, transportation and mobility. 2 line items are here. We have number 1, the HART bus stops. HART does have a plan, and they did approach us like you two. We need them to come revisit. They haven't come back to us, but they did put a proposal together to upgrade HART bus stops in West Tampa.
Why don't parts spend their money, not our salary, money, they bus stops?
I think they're at a standard that would be better than what we could ask.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I think the whole idea was we wanted nicer looking bus stops and something that is more compatible with the historic nature. And we would be willing to pay for that as opposed to just the generic HART bus stop.
Right now, ain't no stopping this down.
Enhancements, okay.
Okay,
So that's 160, that's been sitting there for a few years and we need to make some movement on it. Now Tampa Multimodal Network and Safety Improvement, 3.4 million will complete the obligation of the West Tampa CRA and their contribution of the total of 10 million that they put towards that project. And that project is moving, thank you, Chair Robinson was out there this past week and they had a little construction update. It is moving well within schedule. I think it's ahead of schedule.
Our last.
And that's our last payment.
So that's saving. So after this.
Yes,
We're
and
gonna have a lot of money coming because that was a big hit.
correct, it
over the
was.
years. But it's done. So
It's
now
done.
that means going forward, we'll be in good shape.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, so that did take that's 3 million out of your $10 million budget, that's a lot. Okay, so any other questions about transportation and mobility? All right, moving right along. Community policing, okay, so I did not touch any of these categories and I'm looking for direction. From the CAC, we do have community policing innovations programs. It's supposed to be enhanced services for $300,000, still sitting in a line item.
You
I would suggest that we get a plan from the police of what they recommend for this money.
Man, we just had a murder right here.
I know.
Okay,
Okay,
you
let's
get
call
up
the
on
police.
Main Street on Friday night, Thursday night, it's crazy, it's chaos. Okay, now y'all may not ride down there, you know, it's chaos. I mean, just had a basketball game, just shooting, bang, bang, I'm dead, gone. It was on a Sunday, but my question is, Main Street is becoming very, very highly utilized because of the success of the 21 whatever that number is.
2106.
And I know the changes down there in the building, and I know there's been some complaints, I know they ain't saying it, but, you know, and Cohans, you know, they right there. They had the name events right there. I went to one down there, and I think they stole the Christmas tree lights. But I'm just saying, you know, we need to ask them, and then we're talking about, we flip back to Main Street improvement coming up. So is it something that they need to get receptive or something we need to do, with them instead of having to sit there, but I'm just telling you, it's just sitting there. So I guess we don't
So,
need Mr. Ramirez.
From what I remember, the Community Policing Innovation Officer programs. We, according to our documents, we cannot put any money until TPD tells us what level of policing they're doing. And we can do above and beyond.
Correct.
So
Correct.
even though we haven't done anything with it,
They haven't
we're
told.
still waiting on TPD to tell us what the level of policing is.
Mr. Smith.
This has been a thorn in my side because remember, the whole idea was we were willing to pay for extra police officers. I don't know, it doesn't get any better than that. And TPD said no. I
They
don't know
provided
all the
that,
reasons,
yeah.
which I don't agree with. And, you know, we're willing to pay for extra police protection and they say no.
Well, put it
Then
this
yet
way.
we have murders here,
Well,
murders there.
I wouldn't say all that. I mean, that just might be a one-off, but what, as we develop entertainment along a corridor, you will see that because one thing we did do early on is we put our money on the cameras.
mhm.
Okay, so we got the cameras. I see that's still in here. And I still see they haven't used it all up yet. But you'll see this like as we get Main Street popping, because there's gonna be hotels and stuff down on in the Publix and West River. Okay, and you're gonna start seeing that restaurant pop up on Rome in Maine. The ladies have to go in there. You're gonna see Rome starting to pop up with the Rome Yard improvements to the whole Rome corridor. So, you know, the way I see it is we need to get ready. I mean, if you ride down on Thursday night, heck, and then that's why the land assemblage thing is important because we need to get that off. That's vacant, that's available. And I ain't heard no update,
We're working on it.
Close it.
but we want to buy that barn close to that.
But why spend some money?
Huh?
Why should we waste our own money when there's?
Because we're not aware that anybody wants to buy that and sell it. So is it gonna happen?
They put it over. But the owner thinks that the city's gonna way outbid that, and so he's waiting for the city to give him an answer.
It's being worked on.
And these guys specifically gonna close it. They don't want a bar there as much as you like.
Really?
That's good news.
And $700,000, something.
I really would like to see it.
You're talking about the Albany and Main Street, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one.
and it's up to say.
It's up, well, not on the market, but it's ready, offers are coming in, he's ready to sell. But he's waiting because he thinks the city's gonna give him, you know, crazy amount of money. In 7 days and no due diligence and all that, and so it's being difficult.
The city will do an appraisal. That's what they do. And then there's an offer. But y'all gave a motion to pursue it, remember?
Close.
Yeah, I thought we.
You made a motion. And so I took that motion to real estate and they are working on it. So y'all made a motion to to purchase that property.
Yeah, actually, some, do they have some end use for that? What you think they're gonna do?
It won't be a barn, I'll tell you that much. That definitely will not be a
And
barn.
that's really what y'all wanted to remedy the slum and blight condition. I don't know.
Okay, let's move on. That's good.
Okay, so
Once
okay.
again, what's that?
So community policing, I'll just tell you on community policing, I'm not gonna put, there's no additional money being put there.
But you still spent on community policing?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we can invite TPD District 1 to come. They haven't been here in a while, to come up with a plan. Okay, so historic preservation, there is a separate line item for this because we are almost completing the study with Stantec on all the historic structures.
Stop there.
Yes, sir.
Where's that money at that we're paying now?
What?
That in the 60s, it's costing.
No, we've already encumbered some of it. It's 140,000.
So
this is extra money. Yeah, it's extra. They're finishing up the study. I do have some good news though. We thought there was 500 structures that were historic. There's actually more. So the irony is when people say, oh, we've been tearing down historic fabric, we actually have more than we thought. So when they complete the study, I will have them come and give a presentation to the CAC, okay? All right. But that line probably can go away after that point. We can talk about reappropriating that. And then the last category is quality of life and community improvement. Y'all know we have a West Tampa Main Street. Well, thank you. Thank you.
What you're doing, but whoever's doing, because I go every time I get out, I always look left, right, all the way down to Columbus, and I'm impressed that they're a lot cleaner.
So they're cleaning right now again,
But I mean.
and they're going north to south, and they're doing it right now, okay? But we can't fund this forever, but we had up to 3 years to do it. We're doing it. What I'd like to do over the next year is do an education program with the owners to let them know that, you know, I hope you've enjoyed the cleaning, but no more Christmas trees in the alleys.
Well, if we ever just go in that alley, that you have access to the alley, so it have to be made. With this,
Yes.
So
the other thing that we're cleaning is Main Street, and y'all know we have a new company out there, 4678 Landscaping. They just sent me pictures last week that they remulched.
What's district?
They remulched Main Street. They're a landscape company, so they add mulch in the beds. They kind of just did it, which was great. So they're cleaning. So we have a Main Street clean team that goes from Armenia all the way down to the Publix. And every day they're out there cleaning, making sure the trash cans are clean, the landscaping.
About this,
What's one?
district improvement.
Oh, that is one of your categories, your catch-all categories that you can put into that. That money would go through to things like what we just did there. We reappropriated for a streetscape project. We want to fund
Going and you take that.
that million, okay, was taken out of there to go to the Ray Park streetscape project on the previous page. So everything balances to zero on the FY26 reprogram. And that concludes the budget.
So how much is the leave in that account? The improvements for that?
We have $226,000.
This is
We-
1.2.
I know, but we took $1 million
We
out.
took out $1 million, so that's those two together, what's in it now? And with this
Right.
change, we're gonna take $1 million out of the 1.2.
Right.
Got it.
Yep, we're
And
good.
Tree trimming.
A tree trimming is there. Y'all kept that there. I know we talked about something with Howard and Main Street corridors being tree trimmed, so we have money to do that. Pardon me?
No,
Diamond, what'd you say?
no, it says diamond cut.
Oh, diamond cut. All right, well, we'll talk about diamond cut another time. So anyway, y'all have a really healthy budget. I think the categories, the pots that you're going to forecast